he's like just hanging out and joshing with his friends, likes to make like little references to songs that he's written.
Days pass as Boxworks Island stands alone in the water. Storms come and pass, ships wander the horizons. The four crews busy themselves with work and recuperation. This island was once subtle. No more. Ships at the pier, an inland camp, a telltale tower barely peeking through the trees. You are still building. Will you be ready? Welcome to Bloodwine. So normally we go live and everyone's like real quiet. So I don't know if people caught the comment.
100% they caught the end of that.
No!
And the best part is, Gabe, you saved me having to edit out the intro because I'm keeping that in.
No!
Because
It was
you were saying like, do you think the members of U2 like mentioned the songs they've wrote to their friends? You know what I think? I think their friends go to them and go, "Hey, you remember that time you forcefully put your music on people's iPods and they were furious and started asking specifically for tech support on how to get rid of your music?"
Yeah, well, no,
Imagine
yeah.
Imagine you're having dinner and like your buddy mentions that.
Well,
It's like,
it
yeah, I
depends.
remember.
It depends if you're like a normal person or not. I think a normal person to go, yeah, man, I was crazy back then. I do not want to know what Bono would do.
Like, I get the feeling that if you're friends with Bono, you don't mention that. You
I
don't
don't know.
mention that.
I feel like Bono's a pretty down to earth guy that wouldn't be weird about it.
Right, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, Bono. I do love your music. But only the ones that I heard as a child. I haven't listened to your newest stuff.
I fail to understand how, like, like we all have friends who have like one personality trait. They're like a weed friend, or like a food loving friend, or like a friend who watches anime. Some people have like some interest, but some people it dominates them.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is like super rich and famous people are able to do that, but it's just like a persona. Like, instead of being like, oh, I'm really into this thing I like and share with friends, like, you'll just be like, okay, I am going to dress exclusively in designer clothing, but not good, nice designer clothing, like beige jumpsuits and like poofy dresses with the crotch almost missing and like big shoulder puffs that come out like that on like a Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna upload Instagram lives where I do not even acknowledge that an audience is present or that this is live, and just kind of aimlessly meander about how the world would be better if we all loved each other, and how division just really ruins things.
Oh, hi, John Lennon.
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
I was like, this just really sounds like if John Lennon were alive.
Now, when you all said John Lennon, I was like, oh my god, did they clone him or something? I
don't know. I'm just expecting John Lennon to pop up on Instagram now.
Yeah.
Damn, that'd be so funny.
it must just be a point where you're like either famous enough or rich enough that your personal brand has an effect on your financial health, or both. But like so many of them just like become caricatures.
Yeah.
It's like you can have anything you want, and no one will tell you no, and everyone will tell you it's great, and you're already famous, so you could like walk down the street weird, and they would be like,
Damn.
"A horrible human being. You deserve to die. You don't walk right. Drown in a lake." So
Yeah.
like then when someone's like, "This is kind of a weird fashion choice," you don't notice. When someone's like, "It's weird that you keep talking about communism when you make like $3 million every 6 months."
It's weird you talk about communism and then your next tweet is trying to sell your NFT.
Yeah. Huh. Hmm.
And
I how do I put
Introducing
this?
new Bloodwine NFTs. Each
Bloodwine
one of our
NFTs.
character a unique NFT.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, I did
The
have some
NFT
Bloodwine
market,
dice that we could sell, but that'd be funny.
Selling
I
one
just
of
got them
Gabe's dice.
dropped off by a friend. A little 3D
Yeah.
printer
I
boys.
mean,
Yeah.
in that case, if that was the case, we could actually have the name of the owner of that dice engraved on it as a 6 or a 1
Mm.
or something
You're
like
right.
that. That way, whenever you
Man.
roll a 1, you know who to blame.
Magical.
My thoughts are on that. I don't know. I feel like
But at the same time as that, instead of an NFT, it could be a Patreon reward. And thus
Yeah.
the world is better off.
yeah, the world doesn't need more Patreon rewards. That's kind of what we're lacking right now.
Yeah.
No, here I realize that I'm not much of an entrepreneur because as soon as I have an idea even remotely like that enter my brain, my immediate thought is, someone's probably already done it. Like,
The whole crypto NFT thing I find really funny because like there's so many layers of jargon, and everybody does this to a certain degree. Like jargon is invented in a discipline because you can't say the full explanation of something every time.
yeah,
Like if I'm talking about dirt, I'm gonna be like the grain size distribution, right?
yeah,
I'm not gonna be like, oh, well, the number of particles of a certain size organized by size, like the way that that curve happens, like you can't
you can't
do
do
that
that.
for
Come
like
on,
you have to
be
have a
reasonable.
1 minute discussion with someone going, hey, could you do like a grain size analysis on the samples 1, 2, and 3? I'm also wondering if you could also get like maybe a second sieve on that. I'm not super comfortable with the data. Like
Yeah,
jargon does things, but just like with the normal stock market, like the crypto, like all it takes is someone actually explaining it that you go, oh, this is extremely simple and also stupid. Like
yeah, yeah.
Bitcoin, Ethereum,
Yes.
all of the cryptocurrencies, they're supposed to be a coin. What's a coin for? What's it for?
General trade value,
Yeah.
some sort like that.
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Exactly. So either it is exchangeable freely, which, to be fair, that's what it was. It was like a speculation weird thing, or it's used to buy things. And Bitcoin was used to buy child sex abuse material and drugs. And also, they
Yeah.
shut down they shut down the Silk Road, so it's kind of just the other stuff. And then people were starting to realize, oh, this is just kind of this weird, like, this is just forex trading for Zoomers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about this. And then suddenly it's like, oh, well, we need something that Bitcoin can buy. And actually, nobody wants to like buy. Have you ever noticed that you can't go to a corner store and get like a drink because they don't want to, because they have to have a Bitcoin wallet and pay for every transaction, and also one Bitcoin is like $10,000, and also like the transaction fees are ridiculous. You can't use it to buy things. So they were like, okay, we need to convince people that we're not buying the stuff that happens to kids on video. So, how about we, just like how we invented Bitcoin as this weird abstract computer thing, just to convince people it's not Forex, what if we gave people certificates for things we don't own, which is literally just star sales?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Because you can right click all this stuff, but also like NFT theft is surprisingly easy. NFT, and as much as people talk about the security of crypto scams, confidence scams just go right through the security because you just give them your password because you trust them because you got conned.
Yep.
So
Here's
like,
my password. Come on in.
so if you're ever sitting there, what's this whole crypto NFT thing? It's forex trading, and because you can't buy drugs with it anymore very easily, and there's other stuff that you're not supposed to buy because it's super illegal and also horrible and also fuck you. How about you buy the rights? It's not even the rights to the picture. It's not the rights.
No, it's
not
not
even
the copyright at all. It
Nope,
would be
copyright.
fucking amazing if someone buys a stupid ugly monkey and then posts
And
on their fucking Twitter about it and posts
But
a
that's the
picture of it, and then the artist puts a copyright claim on their content.
Yeah.
And just says, "You need to take that down. That is mine. I own the copyright to that. Take that down."
The best part is with an NFT, you're not getting the ownership, you don't get the copyright, you don't get anything. What you get is you have purchased the note that says this belongs to me, which is not legally binding except for people who want to buy that note from you.
Yeah.
It basically makes
it's not even the transaction, it's just the note, which is not held to you owning anything.
It basically makes you a Scottish lord at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All you need is one but you know what the thing is about the Scottish lord thing? Even though it's not something you could do, like you couldn't call them and go, I would like to walk to my 1 foot of land, please, and put something there. You could technically go to the courts and have them either refund you your money because it's a scam, or have them walk you out and walk you to your property, and you can go to that square of dirt and put a stick in it and go, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like NFTs, they stand for no fucking thanks.
I would love a bunch of people cooperating together, buying their own foot of land, and the idea is each person tries to build a castle in their 1 foot of land. It's like a group castle type thing. Everyone's trying to work together for this one singular purpose.
R/place.
Yeah, it's R/place of Scottish land. And so like halfway through it transitions to like brickwork and like graffiti art of My Little Pony. And then like the other half ends up being like a plastic sheet with a McDonald's billboard on it.
Like, I think what you're forgetting is that rich people exist that could just buy multiple squares all in the same spot.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be as fun.
No, it would be as fun. It wouldn't be as big of a message.
Like that's the thing that would ruin it, right? Like this would get started as a grassroots movement where a bunch of people are buying these lands next to each other and working together to build up.
Somebody do this with a website?
Yes.
Somebody did this with a website where they.
This is what r/place is based off of. Is you got a pixel and you could design what it is, and people cooperated to make the pixels into an image.
Yeah, but there was some guy that like made a website and was like, okay, I'm gonna sell a pixel on this website for $1, and then a whole bunch of companies just bought like a whole bunch of pixels, put ads
and that's
on
exactly what would ruin it. Like a bunch of grassroots movements would get together working on this, and it would be hilarious. And then like Elon Musk would buy like an acre and build a castle, and we would just be like, well, now that's no fun.
Yeah.
The worst part is, and I don't want to go down this train because it's just going to be more Musk bashing. And to be honest, it's at a point where I need to shut up.
Fair enough.
But like, it would be literally a meme from 2012. It would be a meme from 2012. He would use an acre of land for a meme from 2012. And not even one of the good memes from 2012 that we forgot. And then you go, oh yeah, I forgot. That makes me laugh.
Yeah, it would either be Elon Musk putting up a terrible meme, or Wendy's buying an acre of land and putting Burger King sucks on the land as their joke. It's like, oh, we're not going to put our own advertising on here. Aren't we fucking hip? Aren't we cool?
I feel like you're really hating on Wendy's. That would be fucking hilarious.
It would be probably a little bit, but I feel like Wendy's gets too much credit for the shit that they cause.
I'm
So they
really
are.
surprised that more companies that aren't media companies haven't got theme parks. Because, like, I understand Disney World, Universal Studios, there's
Yeah,
properties, there's theming, but
yeah.
really, I'm genuinely surprised that they haven't just made, like, Wendy's Land USA and it's a Wendy's themed merry-go-round and a Wendy's roller coaster. Because I think people would just be like, well, it's all themed off a burger chain, but it's a roller coaster.
Well, right.
I get
How do I
pelted with fries
Yeah.
and salts, but like, it's a fun ride.
I
Like, of all the stupid
yeah.
things companies have done, I'm kind of surprised they haven't.
Well,
And they've done stupid things like I think there was like a McDonald's hotel at some point,
I would
or
very
like
much like a Splash Mountain-esque ride where you have the experience of being a burger or a fry, and
oh,
just the dunk bit is you're going into the fryer.
Defunctland has such good stuff on this. Like they tried to make Chuck E. Cheese but Disney themed, and it
yeah, yeah.
failed colossally.
Oh, it's so good, dude.
The wild thing
I'm
about
gonna
Disney
have
is
to check that out.
they have so much money that they
Yes.
can literally just do industry defining failure after industry defining
Yep.
failure after
Yep.
industry defining failure. And then it's like, well, still in black. All good.
Disney has so much money that they can fail so badly that they wind up in a Weird Al song and like as a failure, and
Mhm.
then they're like literally nothing happens to them, and then they buy Fox. It's wild.
Yeah, they only do one of the largest acquisitions like ever. And it's whatever.
That's fine. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I There's a lot of people going on about like, man, this might be too far. Listen, there's a lot of people that are yelling about Disney adults, where they're like, "Hey,
Mm.
Disney, you're like 30 something. You should not be in Disneyland. It's for the kids." And in my brain, I'm like, "Hey, I don't know if kids should be there either.
See,
Like
the
maybe we
thing,
should all not like it. I don't know."
here's my opinion on Disney adults. I will continue to hold that it's an issue because when it's not, we just call them adults.
Yeah.
Damn, dude.
You just call
I
them
mean,
people
damn.
who like Disney.
Yeah.
And adults who like Disney go to Disneyland all the time. There's plenty of people where it's a special interest.
I'd go to
Yeah.
Something that means a
Disneyland.
lot to
Fuck it.
them. They collect. They've got massive like
Yeah,
shelves
sure.
full of stuff. But I feel like a Disney adult is a lot like a weed guy, where like you can be someone who smokes a lot of weed. You can be someone who like has a bunch of apparel and stuff. But it's different when you're a guy who smokes a ton of weed. Everything is weed themed. If you
Yeah.
purchase an object like glasses, they probably have a weed leaf on it, and the
His favorite
only thing
movie
you
is
talk
Evil
about,
Bong 3.
yeah,
Was
the
that
only
a flick?
conversation topics are like, hear that they say studies show CBD is good for the coronavirus. Actually, it's almost like a panacea. It's spiritual. It's good for your soul. Actually, I find I can focus better, and I think it's good for my lungs. Really, just for mine though. My body really.
Everybody loves it.
That's a
Yeah,
weed
yeah.
guy, and that's the
Well,
energy of a Disney adult. Like Disney,
Yeah.
to be a
Mhm.
Disney adult and not an adult who likes Disney, you have to be a problem for the kids around you. Like
right.
people who just like Disney are just there.
Yeah.
Disney adults are causing kids discomfort. And I think that's
Yeah.
not like an allegation. I think that's the definition.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's like if right. Um if you take sort of a group and point out troublesome behavior and then give that behavior a name, by definition that is a problem, but it's maybe not necessarily like as widespread as
Well,
people
when
make it
when
seem.
you're being a shitbag and causing people issues, you don't like it when people give you a name, right?
No.
If suddenly people are like, oh, like that's why people hated Karen so much. Well, people fucking love Karen. But, people who were Karens hated Karen
Yeah. Yeah.
because suddenly there was an unknowable truth that was like everyone was like, oh, she's a Karen.
Yeah.
I know
That
exactly
infuriated
your
them.
type and how you're going to react to these given situations now.
Uh-uh. You don't know me. My backstory, what my sass factor is?
That's why anytime you try to call out like a community, everyone comes at you because you're just like, man, anime fans are weirdly okay with underage shit, and then people will be like, "Oh, you can't say that. No, not everybody's like that. It's an entire thing. Not everybody even does that. It's so specific. It's
Yeah.
like, fine.
I can assure
We'll
you,
just
Will,
we'll just let it happen.
as an anime fan, resident weeb, it is not okay. It is never okay. It is a disgusting, seedy part of the community.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's one thing that I found really frustrating. Like I had to watch. There's so many animes where like you'll start watching them. Like Sword Art Online was one where it's like, okay, like the premise this is interesting. I didn't even make it to the end of like the second or third or fourth episode or something because it opens and the entire episode is just like. It's like imagine you're walking down the street and an adult man smacks a child's ass and you're supposed to just like keep walking. You're just like, no, I'm calling the police, sir.
Yeah.
Ferris Bueller voice. I guess that's just what they do in their family. Like, oh god.
Yeah. And there are a couple anime that I was just like, wow, this is bad. And I kept reading to see if the train wreck got worse. And sure enough, it did. And that's when I stopped. Like, it's one of those things where it's just like, I started reading something and then it was just like, this is bad. I'm going to read on to see if they acknowledge it. They did not acknowledge it. I'm out.
Sometimes you can do like a fun little, like a fun mix 'em up.
Yeah, exactly. You can do a mix 'em up.
Like I was watching Cells, and sometimes it's just like the art style comes in and you're just tense. Like I was watching Cells at Work.
Right.
And the entire time I'm just like,
no.
They're just cute.
No.
They're just cute.
They're just cute. Platelets are just cute.
I'm sitting there
are
with, like,
just adorable, and nothing
I'm sitting there with
ever
the fucking
happening.
axe behind a door, like it's just cute. It's just cute, right?
It's just cute.
Platelets are just adorable. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, listen.
I will break my computer and then be sad and do nothing.
No, it's okay.
It
Cells at
is-
Work is safe. Safe.
No, it is a situation though where you're like, listen, it's a risk. We don't want none of us want to say it. There is like a risk of. Yeah, no, I was right there with you watching Cells at Work. I was like,
Everyone's
oh
there.
god,
Everyone's there.
don't
Like
you do it.
it's a problem if it makes you anxious seeing a child have screen time.
Yeah.
Okay, we need to move on. We need to stop
Okay.
digressing now a million.
Yeah, we can have our own anime-themed podcast. I'll just get a number of shows and a number of synopses. You know what? I'll play Yikes or Not. And I'll read a synopsis and see if it has any Yikes stuff that sticks out to people.
I actually really like that. Because when you read the synopsis, it happens almost chronologically, so you don't see the little hints that you would see when watching it. So it's just like description of event, and you're like,
Oh yeah. Homina.
Yes.
so you are at Boxworks Island. What time do you want to start? By now, it's time for another commander's meeting.
Okay. Actually, I hate to do this right now. You guys keep going. We've delayed long enough. I just have to take a phone call real quick.
Okay.
So, Son is napping on his hammock.
You set the mines, no one will go near him. Alright, so,
All right.
island stuff. We're doing
Island
island stuff now.
Yes.
We just need to shift those gears, you know?
Commander meeting. What's going on at this meeting?
What time is it scheduled, by the way?
Uh,
I feel like it should be in the morning.
yeah, Crowquill definitely schedules it somewhere between, like, 9... Because, like, adventurers are used to waking up early, right?
Mm.
So they're used to crack of dawn. But Crowquill doesn't want it to be at the crack of dawn, so she schedules it at, like, 9:30.
Okay. So
We
it's
finally have gotten out of the adventuring life. Let's not go back.
Crowquill just wants to live a relaxed life, alright?
so it's late morning. Crowquill was heading off for the commander's meeting. The ships that are there are all docked at port. Currently, the camp is where it was. It's been set up. There's some rudimentary roads that have just kind of been quickly put down so they could get goods from the pier inland. But the more that they move things like heavy stones and wagons, the more heavily rutted the roads become. For even just like a week in, they're still rough and you can feel the ground is soft and malleable, but these will very quickly become streets. A little bit further in, the basement of the boxworks is complete. There's a mail office and a quartermaster, and the rookery is done.
Okay.
Wow, they
So,
got work
well,
done. Nice.
yeah. While Crowquill's going off to the meeting and the sun is surrounded by landmines, what's Jane up to?
I mean, probably like helping out with various tasks around the island. Any like hauling that needs to get done, or maybe snooping on the commander's meeting, depending on how slow things are today.
100% Crowquill does not care if captains show up to the meeting at all. Crowquill doesn't care if crew members show up to the meeting. Like, it's very much like, you know, the town hall where you have the people who need to show up, which are the people in charge. But then, like, if other people show up, fuck it, they can listen, they can contribute. We're not gonna, like, cut them out on this.
Today, for this commander's meeting, we have commander, captain, and captain's kid who is coming to see what the commander life is like. Hi, Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get to business.
Exactly. And we'll occasionally be like, okay, Jimmy, what do you think we should build next?
So where is...
Poor Jimmy. I imagine being in Jimmy's situation, and oh man.
Where is the next meeting going to be?
Well, we don't have any sort of, like, communal hall or anything like that, so Crowquill is very much just like, fire pit, fire pit.
Alright, there's people coming and going, so people are able to listen in or sit nearby if they need to. People are starting to gather around, the commanders are in place. Who starts first? The first thing is, you know, these are standard, like, weekly meeting kind of things, so you go over anything that's happened since the last meeting, everybody has a chance to do that, and then you start on new agenda items. So who's going first? There's the bird team, the box team, the build team, and you are the battle team.
There haven't really been any updates for us, have there? There haven't been any other, like, suspicious ships that have passed us or anything like that?
Well, anything that happened after the close of last meeting is worth bringing up, even if all the commanders already know.
Yeah. I don't remember entirely what the close of the last meeting was. I remember we were setting out to investigate, like, the shore to see...
Yeah, it was the first meeting after you had, it was the first meeting after you had all had a chance to, like, get to the island and set up. And they were basically going, what are the first things we're building? What are the priorities for the birds? Is there anything that needs doing? Let's set up our first patrols.
Yeah. And, like, after we had done a few patrols, we noticed that there was a ship that, like, went dangerously, like, really close towards one of our shores. And so we wanted to investigate that one. And that's pretty much what I'm telling them. I'm saying it was a fisher boat, it looked like this, you know, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah. It was the Red Snapper.
Red Snapper.
Well, Red Snapper, very nice.
I was thinking Crimson something.
Crimson Claw.
So who's next? Bird team, build team, or box team?
Let's go with Bird team since the rookery just got up and running.
Yeah. Rookery is complete, operative. We now have a bird mail service that will bring letters to and from the island by bird. The next steps that we're trying to take, we need to prioritize because we don't have that much time. There's 8 potential bird routes that we can start setting up so we can use this as a transit zone. We'll save a lot of time on maritime shipments if we can get little messages going over this channel here, which we've been trying to do it for a while. We also need to do a feed run soon.
Yeah, okay.
Boxer build.
Well, let's go build. Congratulations on getting so much done.
Yeah, we've got the Rookery office, we have the mail office, we have the spot for the telescope in the Rookery Tower, we have the quartermaster, and the foundation for the basement and some basement rooms. We'll be doing internal construction after it's covered to keep some secrets, but for now we've got the vaults, we've got some of the basics, we've got the foundation and walls and pillars set up. We also have limited time. We're going to have to go on a materials run, but we were looking at adding levels to the boxworks potentially, but we'll get into that later. The box team quickly chimes in and goes, yeah, we're more or less just ready to begin operations. At this point, they're looking for their goals for the next little while. You guys, as usual, you have patrols morning, noon, evening, night. Also, today is the day that you should probably go off and do like a shore run. There's a mail run that needs to be done. There's a gold run that needs to be done for payroll. There's a ferry run, which is unknown how many people want to go on land for whatever reason. And there are shore errands that probably need to be done. You'll have to ask people if they need to go in and check things.
Sharons, as we call them in the biz.
Yeah, Sharon's.
Sharon's.
I feel like Sun just started calling them Sharons, and we're all just kind of waiting.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
Gotta get some Sharons done, and
So I'll be back in 2 seconds. Think about, presume this is something you said before you went into the commanders meeting. What are your goals as a defensive team for the island for the next little while?
Telescope.
Successfully defend the island.
I mean, yeah, telescope definitely seems like the starting point of our goal, because the thing that sucks is that we are the only defensive ship.
Yeah.
So we're basically always on the water, always just kind of patrolling around the water. We need better solutions so that we don't always need to be on the water, always at attention, like full crew, always at attention. It doesn't work very well.
It doesn't help, and the fact that we have a motor means that we can
we could just
get going really fast,
super quick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it seems like more so we would need guard posts rather than that. So yeah, the first telescope seems to be the primary thing that we would want.
Yeah.
I feel like we would need to have some sort of system where we have to share it with the Rookery, basically, where it's just like you get 15 minutes and then we get 15 minutes to scan the horizon.
Or you have one person who is both on the lookout for birds and boats,
Birds and boat boy. Yeah.
It's not rockets. I mean, we know what both of them look like.
Birds and boats.
I mean, presumably we do. We might get them mixed up every now and then, but they're roughly.
Well, but he's nerfed. You know what I'm saying?
True.
That hurt my brain. But yeah. So what actually do we want to construct with that? Is it just the telescope for that, or is there something else that we can construct?
I mean, just a telescope, right? Is there something else that you want to do?
Are we talking about the telescope mounting spot?
We are.
Will the telescope have blind spots?
So, remind me, this is a, initial survey telescope, right?
No, we were building, a big one for both bird watching and ship watching.
Okay, but talking...
Get, a custom mirror.
Talking from the standpoint of someone who has, an 8-inch Dobsonian,
yeah.
Effectively, what you could always do currently is just go with a spyglass at the top of the Rookery. What you would probably have is a, so basically, the birds need to be able to get in and out, and they'll roost places. But otherwise, like the inside is sheltered normally.
Yeah.
So what you could do is the level above that, which is often used for observation anyways. Usually there's a roof and then an open area so that the birds can get in through an open hole or something, or there's like side windows.
Yeah.
So you can go up there, you can have a central mounting point, and then you would basically be able to have like a heavy duty spyglass.
Yeah.
In terms of blind spots, the way it would work is from the position you don't have blind spots. You have the posts that hold up the ceiling. But the way you sight it, you would see the presence of a ship with your naked eye, so you could just go and see it, and then if it moves like a couple degrees, it's back out of the blockage of the like 4 pillars.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say if there was like, look, we can't see this part of the island or anything like
No,
that. Then I would.
So the functional blind spot for the telescope is like, if anything, the closest part of the island, because you can't see down below that, but like, then they're close.
Yeah, they're real close. We should have spotted them by now.
You also couldn't use this for stargazing because you have the roof over you.
Right. Stars. We want to look at the stars. Nothing exciting up there. Just
dumb celestials.
Yeah, there's a bunch of celestials dicking around. I've had
Son and I both are just like, fuck celestials. Fuck those guys.
Yeah.
Sitting there with their funny hats and unusual boots.
Acting unusual hats. Better than you.
Sitting there with unusual hats that they paid thousands of dollars for on the Steam marketplace. Sitting there with their burning team captains.
So, the bird team more or less can pick 3 of the following list. There's 9 items. One of them is a feed run. They need to get a feed run done, but if you can get another ship to do that, then they can do something else. So basically you have 2 if they're doing the feed run. They have 8 locations that like they can start linking up. There's the Newtown city, there's Midhill as a city, and then there's a couple of different coastal locations, a couple of areas like there's the sea outpost. Would you care to weigh in, or is this something that you would just kind of be like, whatever you want to do?
Yeah, link up to what you got. Link up to whichever one you think is best to link up to.
Even though you guys aren't necessarily at this meeting, but it is at the fire pit, you could just walk up. Do you care for the specifics?
Son, no.
Croquill is trying to make sure that we stay away from the mainland for now and make sure that we have access points to other areas other than the mainland. Like, namely, it's like probably prioritize the Freedlands, and then we'll go to like Redwine Keep in the mainland.
So they say that they're going to prioritize the South Sea outposts, which is going to make it so that you have letters going from the mainland to the Freedlands easier. Mm-hmm. So instead of just letters going to you, there would be letters that go in and go through transit. The other place that would do the same thing is going directly from the city of Newtown. And between those 2, second priority after they get the South Sea outpost set up is they're going to do a feed run. So everything's basically like connecting the mainland to the Freedlands and then Newtown right now. The box team has to grab the cryptography codes, which will be needed to maintain the bird routes. You could just have the birds there and healthy and going along the trip, but until you have cryptography going, you can't have the messages transmitted effectively.
Right.
A lot of people don't choose it. It's an extra price, and it has to be sent into the rookery to be like encrypted. But so like there's plenty of letters that are just letters, and if they get found, they get read. But specifically, plenty of people will go through, and then you'll have to like pass things along, or if it comes in, you'll need to decrypt based on an external location.
Okay. Yeah.
So they, like the bird routes will be delayed by that. They'll need to go and get those, but they're going to get the cryptography codes. You literally went and shipped those last time. That was a lengthy endeavor that involved sailing across the seas and dodging attacks, right?
Yeah, that was a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll happen, and then they'll just be sitting on the island, and you don't have a vault or anything. They would be inside the post office or the rookery, which means if anybody were to come in and like bust through a lock, they would get them.
Not ideal.
Sun doesn't
No.
like that idea. As soon as the mention of like bust through a lock, it's like, oh, I could do that easy.
Yeah. Oh,
So it's-
oh,
Oh
God.
no.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you
the-
guys have been using locks?
So
Oh,
basically,
no.
whereas Bird Team has a huge list of priorities and they just kind of need to tackle them in random order, Box Team has one big job, and if they can't do it now, they can do it later and they can do other stuff for you. Right now, they're kind of just a ship at port that you can use. The Build Team, similarly, they have a long list of things they can get done. So this is another pick 3 out of 8. One of them I've got as CNS time, Kenny and Sun's time. They might oppose it if there's a project that you want them to work on that isn't great, but they'll still do stuff if you need, like, you have to do the stuff, but if, like, you want a mounting post for auto somewhere, or if, like, you want a rapid track that, like, lets...
Rookery is just
Yeah, or, like,
auto.
an elevator that goes down into the grotto, or something like that.
Well,
So, as 2 separate items, which come one after the other, you could build level 1, which would mean there's a front door, but no ceiling, and level 2, which means there's a second floor for the box works. You could build housing for the 4 commanders, housing for the 4 captains, and then they'll only do 2. They need to get some kind of construction done, but they're willing to build like a fortification, a backup pier, an overlook, a sniper's nest, any kind of defensive or like offensive structures that you need on the island to maintain your presence.
well.
Do you care at all?
Oh, definitely. I think for fortifications, like,
I'm leaving fortification planning honestly up to Canonier and Son. It's just like I'm
Yeah.
going purely by their recommendation.
Right,
They
you
would
wave
know
them
way
in.
better. They would know way
The
better.
pair of them come in and start making their case to the commanders.
I mean, if you ask me, I think fortifications are best done, especially because we don't have a standing militia. It's best done like around the central camp. You know, if enemy soldiers do somehow make it to the island, there's not much that, say, a guard post out on the other side of the island can do. But if we have sandbags and defensible positions, we might be able to, you know, slow them down or even rout them, as long as we have cover.
True. We've held off multiple ships from just the beachhead.
So you're looking to prioritize fortifications around the camp?
Yeah.
All right. Is that number 1, number 2, or number 3 in priority?
I would say that's number 2, and then number 1 would be an early warning sort of system, which is the telescope, which, to my understanding, has already sort of been constructed.
This is all you.
Or the platform.
They inform you that they just need you to make the telescope fit, and according to your specifications, they have the post assembly, which fits on top of the rookery
Oh,
at
boy.
the exact diameter that you requested for some reason.
Cool.
Really, really like the idea of Otto on top of the rookery. Just.
Well, I mean, not a bad plan.
Is he a long range shot though? Like he's kind of like a minigun, isn't he?
Oh yeah, I mean he can make the shot.
He has
Maybe.
like weather calculating and like trajectory stuff.
Okay.
Can he make the shot? He can make the shot.
He's whatever he needs to be.
Yeah, if I was gonna put Otto anywhere, I'd put him at the center of camp. Like, you know, soldiers come in and there he is. But he's also great to have on the boat. So I don't know.
So what else needs to get done? They also need to do a materials run at some point. You would need to do 2 runs for an equivalent ship. You guys have a lot of like personal space and like fortifications and extra weaponry that takes up the space. So you have the same space eternally as the other like small single-masted ships. So 2 chunks of time would have to go aside for materials runs if they don't do it.
I mean, we could
So-
probably do a materials run. Like, well,
Because you also have to do like the gold run and the mail run,
Yeah, I was
and
gonna
that
say
wouldn't
we
leave
could-
any free space.
that would take up our space? The gold run and the mail run would take up our space? Could we do the feed run on top of it? Like, gold, mail, feed, Aaron.
So you start discussing volumes. Eventually, one of the bird team sends someone to the rookery, and then they come back and talk about like what the current bird volumes are, and then they agree like you should be able to get all 3 of those done, freeing up the feed run in case you want to turn that into half of a materials run.
I mean,
Okay. Does it make sense to do half of materials run? I mean,
It doesn't really.
If the box team, if you guys aren't ready for the box team to make the crypto code run, then you have an empty ship that could do the second half. You could come as a fleet, as a pair.
That would leave. That would leave the construction ship basically alone on the island, though.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh wait, no, because you're going for feed, mail, gold, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
That leaves the bird team free. So instead of feed, they'd be able to get that. So the bird team would be able to go, and the box team could go, and you could stay with the build team while you're on patrol. And then when you leave, you would be able to leave the other ships there waiting for you to return before they do the materials run.
See, that idea I like better.
All right. So is the bird team going to do a material
the
run?
entire idea of us doing the gold run was, it's very suspicious that a ship just comes into port, grabs some gold, and puts it on their ship, and then leaves.
Right.
But if they're doing supplies, like, it's gonna all be mixed in.
Yeah.
Like, it's a cover.
Yeah.
So I think that might actually be a better idea.
Yeah, I mean, it checks out in my mind to do
All right.
do it all in one go.
So the battle team is going to add the feed run to theirs. What's the bird team going to do with that spare time? Set up another bird path, or are they going to do a run for someone else? Because you could also, the build team has 2 free slots before the end of the session. They'll be able to do the materials run
Okay.
if they just do one other thing.
Well, and they're also they also know what materials they want to get. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, they know what materials they want to get, which is why they could give you a list.
Yeah, but they also have an eye for the materials. And possibly
So would
connections.
Sun.
well,
So-
Sun would.
Yeah.
You
Sun
could
needs to
also-
get a big
you could
mirror
also send
published.
you could send a crew member from the teams on the ships and then swap that crew member out from another ship to just sit and help the build team for a while.
Yeah, Son, you
Um,
do want to go and grab like a giant
Yeah,
mirror,
like a
right?
part of. Well, from what I remember leaving off last time, Sun was planning to go with the materials team into town, and while they were getting their materials, he was going to look for somebody to help him with the big mirror for the telescope.
All right, so build team is on a materials run. You will be going with them, so it's build team and battle team, which means bird team will stay back. Box team will presumably defend. If bird team isn't doing a feed run, then they inform you that by the time the next meeting comes, they'll let you know if they get anything else done, but they are guaranteed to get all of the freed lands into their linkage.
Nice.
Sweet. And then we can work on actually getting box team their cryptography stuff.
So the materials run, are they doing that immediately?
Yeah,
Or are they doing that last?
I thought was ASAP.
So then there's one last thing. Do you want any additional fortifications? Do you want Kenny and Sun time to build you anything? Or are they building like housing or boxworks?
I think build up the boxworks. If the next things we're gonna be working on is the boxworks cryptography, we're gonna need the boxworks operational.
All right. So box team is on standby taking over your patrols while you're out. Is that correct?
Yeah.
And they're not doing the crypto run until later?
Yeah.
All right, that leaves you. You've got your morning, noon, evening, night patrol. I don't need to write this down because you guys are free, but for the sake of the meeting, is there anything you guys are prioritizing doing right away that you would tell them? Like, I know as a GM, but like for flavor, your characters telling them before you leave and go back on the show.
For flavor, we're telling them about the um, red snapper, and that we're going to be investigating the North Beach. For any potential, I want to say smuggling spots, because that's what the activity seemed like. That's what the activity seemed like to me. So it's just like this could be like a smuggler spot, and we want to make sure.
Yeah, sounds like a plan to me.
Meeting's over. You're free.
Yeehaw!
Woo! Good stuff. Go team.
Immediately after that, Croak was just like, I need a nap.
I need a nap. A nap needs me.
Fucking meetings.
The build team is getting ready as like ASAP to get a whole bunch more materials. They want to get as much of the day in as possible. What are you guys doing? It's almost noon. You could ASAP go for the like last morning patrol you could do, or you could set that onto the Boxworks team and then join them on a trip out.
Sun is actually going, getting the boat on the water and going on the boat and consulting with Otto.
Okay. Otto slowly pans.
Hey there, Otto. We're kind of have a job to do when we're defending the island, and well, guess it's up to you. You don't have the mobility I wish you had, and if I could take you on and off the boat at leisure, I would. But looks like we're gonna be staying here a while, and I thought I'd give you the choice. Do you wanna stay on the boat and defend from the sea, or do you want us to move you inland where you can be with the people, but only see action in the most dire circumstances?
Otto kind of just like he goes down, his shields move out of the way, and even like the cannon fires split so he can look down at his post, and he goes, I thought that was the whole reason I had an interchangeable base, so you could just pup and then pup.
Well,
he gestures with his cannons. He goes, donk, oh, donk.
Yeah, but you're quite heavy. I mean, like it hurts Papa's back to carry you.
I think you and I both know that you're not putting me on the back of a horse-drawn wagon. That gives me too much power.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Otto would figure out how to talk to the horses.
Otto, we're going into town, and I think this place is gonna need some defending while we're gone. So I'm gonna move you into town, and you'll keep them safe, okay?
All right. When are you gonna be back?
Probably in a couple days.
Understood.
And Sun goes to find someone strong and trustworthy to help him move Otto into the center of town.
So as you're getting out to do that, Ken Yu wheels back and he goes, what if you retrofitted new paneling? There's a lot of like the outside of the head is made of the heavy dwarf stuff for no reason. There's iron where it could be steel. You could do part replacements. Make Otto backpack size.
Oh my god, backpack Otto.
That's a dangerous idea. I'm gonna have to think about it. I mean he's all iron because I don't want him getting hurt. If you could make your kids' bones out of iron, wouldn't you?
No, titanium. Well, actually, a nice spring steel. Iron is brittle. Spring steel has a lot more flex, and it allows you to have, because then you get hit and you do move, but then you run. It's got the capacity to handle a bit of that sort of steel torsion.
Right. I mean, I forgot that kids generally aren't in firefights. Ideally.
Tin and aluminium are also pretty expensive, but those are pretty good.
Well, I'll keep this between us. Tiana doesn't need to know.
Also, maybe you want to go for something more replaceable. Maybe your kids get their limbs broken every couple weeks, so you switch out for simple wood parts for easy replaceability. It depends. What are you expecting your kids' limbs to break with?
Well, I mean, I'm expecting Otto to at least take a cannonball before he passes. So
Yeah, there's
go for
shields in the
less.
front. Just keep the shields good. You built
Right,
shields on him.
but what if the shield? What if the shields come from behind, or the cannonball comes from behind?
Then they shoot Otto in the powder barrel, and he explodes. And so do you.
Right, that's why the power bear is made of iron.
Unless you have a weaker barrel with rear shielding.
I'll have to sleep on this one. This is, I don't like doing surgery on him, but might be worth it.
Well, if it's exterior plating, it's not surgery, it's just a change of clothes.
I would hate to see your doctor.
Kennedy looks down at his literal prosthetic legs and is like, maybe I'm biased.
Maybe.
So, what's the plan? Is the Bilgewater set in sail?
I'm setting up Otto with I think the last charge, like the last of the energy charges that I have.
Where are you setting up Otto? Because right now, the only post that fits Otto is at the top of the rookery.
Then I'll put him up at the top of the rookery. It's gonna be a bit of a struggle to get him up there, but like
literally going up a spiral staircase with a 2-ton monstrosity.
Well, I'm assuming that the build team has pulleys and rope for like. I mean, we do all have boats, and they are having to hoist stuff. Like, I'm assuming we have some sort of rigging available. I mean, they had to get heavy materials up there, right?
They still have all the stuff that they need. Also, like, Otto is the kind of thing where, like, Otto's like a barbecue.
Yeah.
You could get a barbecue upstairs.
You can totally get a barbecue upstairs, but the moment it fucks up, oh god.
If some college students have taught me anything, it's that you can put a barbecue pretty much anywhere.
It is kind of funny how, like, no place I have ever been that has a balcony lets you have a barbecue out there, but everyone has a barbecue out there.
Yeah.
Like, it's baffling to me how many, like, tenancy laws and property laws they just assume you're gonna break but put in there anyways. Like,
yeah.
I guess for indemnity, they don't want the one person who doesn't know how a barbecue works to, like, put the metal directly against, like, a whole bunch of cardboard leaning against a wood wall.
Like, it's also that, and also if a person starts complaining about smoke in their apartment from, like, someone's barbecuing, they can be like, you specifically have it in your contract, you're not allowed to barbecue.
Look,
that is true.
It's like, it's one of those things of just like, you had it, we let you have it, you ruined it for everyone.
Yeah. It's your fault that Karen complained.
Yeah, exactly.
Non-enforcement is a good way to keep, like, people in line, I guess, because, like, technically you could do it as long as you're not getting caught and not being a problem, which kind of regulates so that you're already behaving in kind of stealthy behaviors.
Yeah,
but it also kind of leaves you open to being screwed over the second that someone who has
100%.
control over those wants you in trouble.
100%.
Yes. Yeah.
That's why HOAs are such a nightmare. It's not because there's a problem with HOAs. HOAs, hypothetically, are one of the best ways to organize housing. The problem is that the people in charge of the HOA are those people. They're HOA people.
Well, the people that would volunteer for it,
They're not there to establish guidelines to permit you to engage in backyard gardening. They're there because they're like the three people who invested early in the condo and also invested in the condo corporation shares, and they want to maintain property values even if the place they live is garbage. That's the thing that always baffled me, is like property value doesn't take into account what it's actually like to live a place. Like, it does in terms of the things that are measurable, like number of restaurants, distance to local amenities. But it's almost never a vibe check unless it's a notable neighborhood that's famous for it, right?
Yeah.
Right. Our neighborhood's famous for our vibes.
Like,
Yeah.
your property values will go down if it's like, I have detected the smell of a drug. But they don't go down if everyone's a cunt.
Damn. You hit that nail right on the noggin.
You said the word.
He did. And
I said it bad.
You know what, Will? You were right to say those words because I'm from Reddit and my parents.
Is this a moment? Is this a moment where it's like, wow, so brave? You call the homeowners association dicks?
Yeah.
Or is this a moment where I'm used to the casual use? Like, is this like, oh, I should probably stop using that word. Vagona.
Vagona.
How many? If I say my friend Jordan, how many people have a face that comes to mind?
Me.
Like, yeah.
See, the thing is, I know the person you're talking about, but if I didn't and you said my friend Jordan,
yeah,
I assume hip, knows everything about basketball, very stupid. Or
see, that's what came to my head too. I don't know who you're talking about, who your friend Jordan is.
Or someone who's inexplicably super religious. And I don't mean like they're a really devout Catholic. I mean they're like an ultra sub mega Baptist of the third degree. Like, it's a specific denomination that doesn't let you watch Pokemon.
No, man, you're missing. I think Chelsea will. Well, when you met him, he was very shy. Anyway, point being that Jordan, I guess, decided to start using the word cunt just casually because, he saw it on TV, and then it rubbed off on me once, and he said, "No, you can't say that. It sounds weird when you say it." And I've just stuck with that. I've just sort of trusted his judgment on that. Well,
that's the thing, right? It's some words are just not your word.
Yeah.
Like, if I call someone a bitch.
Yeah.
Right? You felt that, right? That's not my word. I don't get you.
Not yours.
It's not because there's a reason I can't. It's just when that word comes out of my mouth and my expression, it's just like, no.
Yeah.
See, I can say someone's a little bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
But even then, it's not fully natural. It's like it comes with the implicit assumption that I don't think that calling someone a little bitch is actually a valid insult. I'm just doing it because I think they'll be insulted, right?
Yeah.
It's even then, it's not really my word.
I don't know. You called me a piss baby once, and I was very upset. So
that's true because piss baby is my word. It's one of those moments where I misjudged. I misjudged the tone, and like. The difference between being able to playfully rib someone to cut the tension and insulting someone when the tension is high is razor thin.
Yeah.
Was this the argument about the peeing in the shower?
Yeah.
See, now you know it's about peeing in the shower. Piss baby is a good word, isn't it?
It is.
Baby is a great word.
It is. It was the right word for the context. I wasn't willing to hear it.
Speaking of piss.
Boat
still at port.
I don't see how that's relevant.
Sometimes I just have to go, speaking of X, and hope nobody calls out the fact that it's not a segue.
I see.
Well, I mean, there's just like sun peeing off the side of the boat.
Did you know that the guy invented this? No. Okay. Fuck. Okay.
Okay. So you're mounting sun on the top of the rookery. And then we're going.
Auto.
Sun on the top of the rookery.
Have fun. All right.
Just kicking over a leg. All right.
I'm mounted. Now what?
There's a thunk as you manage to get Otto stationed up there. By now, the build team can delay, but your morning patrol isn't happening. You have to delegate that to the box team. You're going to be heading around noon. By the time your ship is ready to go, it is noon. Easy into the lunch hour. Where are you going and what are you doing? You have to get this feed and gold shipment, but because you're a secret location, you would preemptively like inform them of the pickup spot.
Mm.
So you tell me, what level of security and anonymity is set up? Where are you buying the feed? Under what pretense? Under what names?
Oh, I feel like
I hate to do this, but this is a combination of Boxworks and Battle Team's job, and like Boxworks are the academics and Battle Team is practical. This is your problem.
Jeez.
yeah.
Yeah, I
The
mean,
build
yeah, it
team has
is.
been the build team has been going with the assumption that like ship crews that bring materials and help people build things aren't unheard of. So it's easy to be like, oh, we're building, and then you fake a spot that's a similar distance and location, and then eventually the building's built and you're not seen anymore. Like, eventually, build team is going to be dispatched because the building's built, and then they'll be swapped out for like a maintenance, and then really, by the time they're swapped out, you'll be able to pick the new team.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, the guys is probably just like, how do I, okay. You definitely have to have a company that doesn't exist, but is like a third party to a second company that doesn't exist, that then feeds into the rookery, but in a way that isn't suspicious. Like, this is Mark's. Oh, hey, listen, we're Mark's wood supplier, and we're looking to supply wood for a job for George's tower repair shop service that is then on contract with the rookery for
Mm.
repairing various things, and each one says they're sending it to a different location. Like, just obfuscation, you know?
Yeah. So the current go-to is that each of your individual things, when you go to pick up the gold, when you go to pick up the mail, when you go to pick up the feed, you are doing so as contractors who are just there to pick it up and bring it to a boat, and you don't know where the boat goes. Conveniently, you're the people who are just picking up an order and you don't know where it came from. You're just supposed to ship it to an island, and you get the coordinates when you get on board from your commander.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
nobody needs to say that all of you actually know where you're going, because your commander formally goes, all right, we are going to these longitudes.
Yep.
And then you just drop it off. You don't know what happens with it. It's convenient also that you happen to be the people who
We'll pick it
put it
up,
down at port at this anonymous location, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So technically, it's like you are employed by you, and then you transfer to you, and then you transfer that to you, who's employed by you.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
It's
Yeah.
me all the way down.
Hashtag boss babe. Let's do this.
And where are you going to pick up your feed, your mail, your errands? This doesn't have to be a city, but the build team goes to Newtown because Newtown is a place of logistical power. It's very easy to get things there and to set up merchant deals there.
Yeah. I feel like what Sun needs is to go to Newtown. His son
Yes.
needs someone to make this mirror.
Yes. Yeah. Son's headed to Newtown. For sure.
Are there any other like cities that we think would feasibly have a big enough place to do this, to make the mirror that Sun needs?
To make the mirror.
Oh wait, didn't on the last session we talk about this, and it was like there was one person in Newtown who might be able to do it, but it would take a long time, and then the other option was dealing with the mainland.
Yes,
and it would
that's how I remember
get
going.
done quicker on the mainland, but like it's the mainland.
But it is the mainland. Yeah, so I believe it would take like you could put an order in, it would take a while, or you could go through the mainland. And I think Sun was hoping for sort of a third option where he just so happens to find somebody that isn't listed in the yellow pages in Newtown. Or
Well,
at the very least,
the one that's going to take a while is in Newtown, I believe.
right. Sorry. So then on the mainland, go in and be like, hey, yeah, you have a bad reputation, but maybe we can, like, I don't know, make a gentleman's agreement or something, or get a little more peace of mind that this guy at least has a wife and children, like like just try and sort of align those two conflicting ideals.
I mean, you know me. It would be one of those things where like you go there and you find out the guy you work for is actually way more of a shitbag than you thought, but you find out that his assistant is the one who has the wife and kids and is economically dependent on him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't make it easy for you.
No, you wouldn't. But that's sort of Sun's dream, I guess.
All right.
Well, I guess
You're
we're
headed off
going
to
to the mainland then.
Yeah.
To the mainland
I
or to
guess.
Newtown?
Okay, Croquill is specifically turning to Sun and just going, "Where do you need to go to get this lens?"
Well, if we can head to the mainland, I'll be able to find somebody to do it, but we might not like them, sort of on a personal level. But in my mind, that might just be how it have to be, you know.
All right, so we don't have to like the guy. Perfect. Let's go with that then.
All right.
All right, you are headed to Westmarch. You warn Bilgy and Rooker so they can stay shapeshifted if anything happens. Want to pull up the map? Let's go on a journey.
Going on a journey.
In our favorite rocket gurney.
And we're just heading east, aren't we?
I believe so. Let me get my own maps up for reference.
We're heading on a journey in our favorite rocket gurney, heading east.
Sounds about right. Good song. Good tunes. Yeah, it looks like we're just heading east. Maybe a little bit north?
Oh, no, you're heading... Westwatch is north. It's actually a little bit further from Newtown. You could head southeast to get to White Abbey, which is further than all three. Or you would be able to pick things up at a village on the edge of the coast, but then you would have to travel inland to get to the city of Midhill. And I believe the sketchy guy is in Westwatch, which is north.
I think we head north.
As you're evaluating your decision, the wind starts to shift. The wind is going southwest.
Fun.
Then we are heading north.
So you tack one way, and you can hear an audible groan as the other ship, the Clatterhorn, has to and not like a wood groan, like a people groan. It has to keep tacking back and forth like a heavy hauler ship trying to get to Newtown.
The Clattercorn is representing us.
Yeah. You ever think about how, maybe there's not so much of a difference between us and the Clatterhorn. Maybe we were wrong to judge them so harshly. And the crew of the Clatterhorn says, what?
Huh?
You were judging us? What? So you make it one square. You're fighting against the wind pretty aggressively, and you don't have the access to the Genoa sail because of how stormy it is.
Ooh.
It's the early afternoon. The wind shifts a little bit more. What's everybody up to on the ship while you're sailing?
Sun is probably thinking of all the different ways that maybe this guy isn't so bad, all the different, he's like, maybe there's up in he's poring over the map, going, maybe up in here, I remember there's being a glass blower there, maybe he'd be able to help, or no, but glass blowing isn't really what I need. Just kind of wasting time.
The wind shifts. You have to actually fully take down your sails for a moment. The wind shifts radically. A storm comes over you, and as it departs, you can see the flag go one way, another, and then another stable wind pattern happens directly northward.
Okay.
Cool. Let's go northward.
You make it a generous 3.5 squares.
Alright.
So another 2 past the next square north. Should be D6, I believe.
Yep.
At present, it's the late afternoon. In terms of navigation, Croquill, you're on the boat right now, right?
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Croquill is actually penning a letter. In the
Oh.
weird Croquill way of magicking the ink onto the page to form the words that Croquill is thinking. The same way that she does for her, like, fake IDs and things like that.
Is there any reason it should be secret?
We'll keep it a secret for now, because why not?
Sure.
Oh no, I mean specifically for stream, like, is it able to be not a secret, or should it be a secret?
Doesn't really matter.
Okay, who are you sending a letter to?
I'm sending the letter to Anne.
Okay, do you remember what her last correspondence was?
Her
by chance? I
her
think I do.
last correspondence was basically before I went to the box to the rookery and said, "All right, I'm retiring. I want to work at on the box project." I penned a letter to her secretly. This was something that I messaged you about, and said that I wanted to basically send a letter to her saying if she would like to be my assistant, basically be my eyes and research partner. And her response was basically when, where, how long, what's the pay?
And I think
Valid.
Steelfist's answer was very different.
Yes,
but
I did
both
pen
of
another
them-
letter to Steelfist just because he's my brother.
Both of them basically with a shrug went, I mean, I'll visit and see it.
But yeah, I basically I'm penning a letter back to say, like, look, if ever you're interested, here's how you would contact the rookery, here's the pay, like, and the pay would genuinely be like cut from my paycheck kind of thing. Not even like, I haven't even discussed it with the other commanders, it's just like I am literally reducing my pay to take this person on.
Yeah, you're hiring them, like,
yeah.
out of pocket.
It's worth saying, the rookery's deliberate structure makes it so that the second that you guys are on the boat, you can just kind of go, there's no reason, we can go back to the way things used to be and just be an anarchic boat. But formally, Croquill is the commander and Jane is the captain, which means Croquill has no authority over this boat, but is Jane's direct employer. Jane is the one with all the authority over the boat, but is entirely dependent on Croquill, and Croquill is the person in charge of the budget.
Yes.
So technically, you guys now have to go ask Croquill for your paycheck, which is awkward because you know that like there's no money until the gold run.
And Croquill hates every last bit of it.
And you also can't just get it directly out of there because you have to get the chest there and then divvy it amongst the teams. But also, like, there's all the individual ship budgets, which don't just mean payroll; they also mean operational budgets. So, like, you probably have meetings with Jane and with Rooker being like, okay, so how much do we need for food? How much do we need for cannonballs? How much do we, like, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, and Croquill pushes all of those numbers up. If Rooker says, like, well, if we were to get something, then Crocquill's just like, yeah. She'll push for every last penny.
So more or less, the way that your budget operates, if I'm getting the right impression, is that at all times you are on a shoestring, but you're fully stormproof. Like, you can never do anything. You can barely afford Annalise, or Annabelle, or Anna Lee. She's been a lot of Annas.
I literally addressed the letter to just Anna.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like, I think that's the...
Like, literally, anything that Rooker asks for, like, an improvement to the crew that isn't in the budget comes out of my paycheck, and Croquill 100% just accepts it. And doesn't tell anyone about it.
So it
Will
is...
say, I'm not like other bosses.
Yeah, Croquill is 100% fine just not getting a paycheck.
Did I say it was late afternoon or the evening now?
I believe it was late afternoon.
Okay. By the time it's the evening, the wind has shifted again, this time directly southward against you.
Should we just call it a night?
Yeah, I suppose so.
Well, I shouldn't say evening, dinner hour, and then evenings after.
Yeah. But, like, should we just call it there and...
No point being a hero, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like, we're not going to get very far in a southern wind.
No, sir.
Can't even use our sails here.
No. No, yeah, let's call it for the night,
I might as well.
You lay down anchor a little ways off. This place here is tough to anchor. You really have to, like, make a couple of passes, because underwater it's still kind of craggy. It's slowly getting eroded away, but you gotta find just the right spot for it to kind of clink and catch against a rock. Elsewhere, you can usually find, like, deep sludge, but here there's a lot of these, like, just kind of chunks. Eventually, there's a catch. It's a little bit rough, but you are anchored down.
Cool.
Rooker prepares a standard dinner, just a little bit of fish stew. And you have a bit of time to talk.
Little bit of fish, little bit of stew.
Gorkle's actually kind of curious. What's everyone's thoughts on the matter? Like, now that we've sort of been here for a little while, like, honest answer, what the fuck do you think about this actual job?
Oh, well, you know, it's kind of relaxing, not too much action, and, steady paycheck. I mean, man could get used to this, I suppose.
Yeah, really not too much action, which, you know, is boring. I would like to shoot something.
Yeah, it's not really what you signed on to the Bilgewater for, is it?
Well, I signed on to the Bilgewater to get out of the city. And, you know, that worked out. So
this is true.
Well, yeah, out of the city now.
yeah.
But what about the rest of the crew? What does the rest of the crew think of the job?
Rooker and Bilgy are happy. They more or less just want to live in a room on a ship and do their shit. Kenanye is genuinely apathetic to the situation. Like, he still has his workshop, so nothing's changed. Tiana hasn't really had a good melee for, like, a good while, but is kind of getting used to the idea of not always being in mortal danger. That being said, is there anybody I'm missing? Tiana, Kenanye, Rooker, Bilgy? Yeah. Tiana does note that it hasn't actually been that long since you were in a fight. It really hasn't.
Croakle kind of like thinks back and is just like, yeah, we really used to just get in fights like as a regular thing, didn't we?
I mean, yeah, that's why that's why we're here. I wouldn't be much of a, you know, weapons workshop if we didn't have people to test them on.
Okay.
Slowly, time wears on into the evening. What kind of luxuries do you have on the ship? Is it just your standard food? Do you have, like, a little bit of rum, a little bit of ale? Or is this, like, you guys are kind of sleazy, this is an expensive ship to run, you've all got your own personal vices, there's a couch somewhere?
I love the idea of just a waterlogged, rotten couch. Like,
That would be the grossest couch.
That would be such a bad couch.
You don't have the couch, I should say. It's just a hypothetical couch.
No, that is, yeah, I don't want a couch. That's a solid no on couch.
Yeah,
Ew.
every single luxury that Sun owns is either sort of something that he is wearing on his body, or like a tool in the workshop. You know, he's not a.
So you don't go out for a night drinking, you don't have like a nice comfortable smoke in the evenings. You save money for when you get like fluted nose pliers.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, and Crowquill's kind of the same, very used to sort of like a minimalist, sort of acidic lifestyle. Just living in a cave, living off the land, that's what she's used to, and like...
Yeah, like you're surrounded by people hanging around and talking, and then they're like, "Oh, so should we do something?" And you're like, "Do something. We're doing something."
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is doing something. I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
But she's also 100% been slipping money to Rooker if Rooker like wanted to buy something extra. Like whenever they're out shopping or something like that, she would 100% slip him some extra coin, like a couple coppers, a couple silver, if he was just like, "Ooh, this is on sale."
So after dinner, Rooker comes back a little bit later with a like a savory sailor's dessert pie. It's got a little bit of fruit, it's got like a little bit of molasses, but mostly it's like a creamy thing. Like it's a lot of flour and cream and sugar and molasses in there. It's rich and dense, like a treacle pie.
Sailor's dessert pie. Deserting has never tasted so good.
There's even like a right on top. There's a patch of molasses where it's really bitter, and then there's little chunks of coarse salt in the middle of each slice.
Huh.
There's a little kind of like blossom throughout it.
Tasty stuff there, Roker.
Otto's not here, so who's keeping watch?
Oh, Otto.
I take first watch.
They grew up so fast.
Good old Otto.
We're gonna be missing him.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, well, I take first watch, definitely. I don't know who's on for second, third, or fourth.
I'll take second watch.
And then we'll say Bilgy takes third and Rooker takes fourth.
Sure.
Or maybe I should leave that up to Jane, the captain.
This would be James. She's the cat.
Yeah, you're the
For sure.
captain. You decide who's staying awake.
You get to tell the boat where to go, but you don't get to tell them how.
Whatever everybody wants to do, I'll take a watch if you guys want me to.
Okay. You know, Jane, a good leader knows when to delegate.
You guys can delegate yourselves.
I'm delegating the delegation to you guys.
Yeah, we've been delegating ourselves for like years now. Come on. Like,
Don't delegate yourself.
Nobody come in, I'm delegating. So, Croquill, you are on watch when you hear the sound of something making flapping noises and starting to make its way onto deck. What's your default sort of drive away beast instinct?
Default drive away beast is definitely doing Grove Druid, telling the thing to fuck off. This is not a ship you want to mess with.
So it takes you 5 stamina, but immediately you start sensing out to just like presence and persuade this animal. It's some kind of monster. You think it might be a land octopus? The name's deceptive. They are sea creatures, but then they climb onto your boat and then like climb around in it, and they spend time breathing air for weeks, like in the back of someone's room until they jump onto your face one night. Really unpleasant things.
Yeah, not good at all. No.
You're able to will it off the edge of the boat and make it swim away, and it doesn't come back later. Son,
Hooray!
while it's your watch, you see a shooting star go by.
Oh,
Oh, how nice.
I wish. My wish is that Otto has a fun day where he gets to shoot somebody once.
We're expecting a very tear-filled reunion.
Yeah. Boy.
I've heard of helicopter moms, but this is a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
You're a mom of a literal helicopter.
Yeah.
When dawn comes, you all wake up, and it is a northeasterly wind that curves right around the edge of the coast.
Okay.
Well,
Where you heading?
We're heading north.
Go north.
We
north.
go north.
We going north, baby. Friday again, Garthy baby.
What? Sorry.
I know that's Garfield, but I don't. Anyways, you've got most of the wind at your back, but with the lack of like stability in the current to use the general sail, it doesn't really help you out much. You move 2 squares and start to crest the last couple of those islands. As the early morning comes, you can smell that Rooker's making some pancakes. The wind shifts slightly. It's still around the northeast. What's everybody up to on the ship as you're getting closer to Westwatch?
Like straight up doing a Homer Simpson pancakes.
Crockwell is probably on watch duty before we're heading in.
Jane, you're the captain. What positions do you assign? There are 2 masts. There is 1 skipper position. 1 person can handle both masts, but they have to stay there all the time and can't leave, or 2 people could handle the masts. It's a lot of storms and a lot of shifting wind.
I will do a mast. What did you say? What did Croco want to do again?
I scout. I do what I usually
Okay.
do. I go into the crow's nest with warbles and just kind of let them fly around, and I tell you what's up ahead if there's any sort of congestion that we might run into.
Okay.
So you need a skipper, and you either need someone else on the mast, or you need someone designated to answer your commands. Just in case you need to be like, hey, could you come up here and grab this a second?
Tiana helping me out, and Bilgi on the wheel.
You creep another 2 squares, but you're just shy of Westwatch around the noon hour. You're starting to pull in around lunchtime.
All right.
Currently, there's a lot of ships coming and going, and you can see that the shoreline is somewhat busy, but even then, compared to Newtown, Westwatch is a ghost. Even the people who are here seem like they're trying to get out of the road as fast as possible to leave it empty, like it's supposed to be empty.
Did we choose a bad day to come in?
Yeah.
Honestly, Westwatch has just been a sad kind of place for a while. They don't like strangers, but they're a port city.
So they always get strangers.
So they're either miserable or economically depressed. And they have to choose which one it is at any given time.
Yeah, I feel like they flip-flop quite a bit.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, if you're running a city and you got to choose between those two,
it's not a good life.
No.
Like a racist having to call tech support. You're like, no, I need my computer to work.
Why?
Please don't make me reliant on a call center somewhere else in the world.
Oh, why can't they crush good whole American souls?
I imagine there's at least one person in the world who went, I don't want to talk to anybody from India, and just hasn't had a functioning computer since.
Oh, 100%.
Like someone who was just like, this is the line. I'm tired of talking to someone whose name clearly isn't Jonathan, and they've just not had a working computer in like 15 years.
I refuse
Yeah,
to believe that Dave from AT&T customer service is actually named Dave, and I am offended by that.
Yeah.
It's
I
telling though,
know.
because it proves that they're angrier that you would just have a name that isn't Dave than they are that you're pretending to be Dave.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like that's the kind of stuff that's company policy because callers are racist.
Yeah, like it's one of those
Yes.
things where it pisses me off, not because the person's clearly not going to be named Dave. They could be named Dave for all I know, but it's the
But now-
sheer fact that it's just like, I bet your name isn't, and I bet it's because it's a dumb reason.
And now you have to pretend that this guy's Dave from Chicago
Yeah.
and not like a guy from Sri Lanka, and you can't just have an equitable thing where it's like, yes, hello, person from across the world. Isn't telecommunications a wonderful invention for the world? Please help me fix my computer. It's like, you all have to behave in this weird, like, pantomime. Because it's not for you, but you know that like 3 calls later, this guy's going to get someone who makes comments. Who makes
and
remarks.
the thing is, it's not for you, but the guy doesn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
And
like, you can't be like, oh, ha 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 ha. So what's your real name?
Yeah. And so, like, the best part is, I've worked with, like, offshore computer developers, and they're specifically offshore computer developers from India. And the interaction feels the exact same way. Like, I feel like we just both have to acknowledge that you're not an offshore, like, company that is, we are hiring you because you are cheaper than hiring, like, people in the area that are, like, you know, I have a master's degree in such and such type thing to do it. And you don't need a person with a master's degree to do it.
Yeah.
Like, you engage in these fictions that are entirely just because someone angrier and more unreasonable than you would go off in that situation.
Yeah.
And instead of, telling people to shut up when they're being assholes, all of us have to do shit for them.
Yes.
Like,
well, yeah.
When did that happen? When did we have to cater to the shitty people?
I mean, like, there's because we want their money, right?
Yeah, money good.
Money is good.
We also kind of designed a system where being a shitty person is distinctly profitable, which is a problem. Okay, we need to get out of this. You guys are a Westwatch. It is sad. There aren't a lot of people. The streets are a little dead. You have feed, you have gold, and you have mail to pick up. No one wanted to go back ashore. No one needed to get any errands picked up. You've only been there a week. Most people are still not homesick. They don't need shore leave. So it's just you guys and an empty hold.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm gonna start looking around for some skilled labor.
All right. Tell that there is someone around here that makes parabolic mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a very specific kind of thing, and you're going to have to hunt someone down. Where is your first start point for that? You're starting from the docks, but Westwatch is a very big city.
Well, is there like a guild, or is there a market? Either of those I feel like would be good options.
Okay, you're looking for guilds, you're looking for markets. What about the other two?
I am taking Rooker to go get the... If Rooker wants to. Like, this is Westwatch, after all. He doesn't... I don't want to force him to have to go into the town where he has to keep himself disguised. But we're gonna go and get the payment.
Alright.
I might go with you guys to do that.
That's fair.
Okay, it's a heavy gold chest, so 2 people will have to pick him up. Rooker is big and strong, but you notice actually he's a lot more confident in his shape shifting over time. He's had time to practice.
Ooh.
He turns into a red Torg, so he still gets looks, but he's his own personal size, and you can see he's using his 2 arms pretty freely without any slip ups.
Nice.
Nice. Way to go.
Where would you have arranged to pick up the gold? Just at the bank? At a treasury? At like a mail spot? Or is this like a, a discreet crate?
I feel like, given that we are in Westwatch, we would have planned it to be a discreet crate.
Yeah.
If it was like Newtown, bank. But here,
Yeah.
crate.
All right. You make your way to a book binding place, like a printing and binding center. They give you something which ostensibly is a book crate. You double check identities. They quickly like slide you something showing that they're a rooker and that they're the rooker that you're supposed to meet. And like they come close. They go like, "Hey, just double checking. This is rooker. Rooker. What do you call yourself? Rooker? Crowfeather? Raven? Quill?
I'm pretty sure it's like Raven Pen. I've probably
Raven
changed
Feather or something.
I've probably changed it like every single time.
Yeah.
You make the alias transaction, and you make a nod, and you're just picking up a crate full of books. It's big and heavy, which explains why there's so many of you picking this up. You also have one person walking with you with a weapon, which would be Jane, but you could just be walking along.
Mhm.
So you'll still have to pick up mail after you bring this back to the boat and feed.
Yeah.
Okay, bring this back to the boat, and then I could go get the mail if you want to go get the feed.
Okay, Rooker, we're going to get feed now.
Yeah.
How much mail is there going to be? Am I going to be able to carry it by myself?
There won't be very much, actually. It's just like a couple crates. The feed is the one where you're going to need sacks on sacks and sacks of it.
Okay.
Son, you are in the market. You're around Market Street trying to find a crafter's guild. Certainly, you're not going to find someone who's just selling massive, fragile, parabolic mirrors.
Right.
You do, however, make your way to the crafting section and you talk about mirrors, and they mention that there's a guy who works for a weapons manufacturing company in town. There's a large warehouse. I will be back shortly.
Okay. What do you think Will is going to actually do for this guy selling mirrors? When Sun eventually gets his mirror conversations going.
Yeah, I honestly have no clue.
Like I'm expecting just scum and villainy.
A wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Yes, the likes of which we've never even seen in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Is this the sketchy guy?
Yeah.
Why did we go with the sketchy guy again?
Because he is quicker.
Why do we care if it's quick?
Because we want defenses up and running.
Yeah.
I see.
It's sort of, it's better to have it up and running and, done by someone sketchy than, not having it and we get attacked.
I guess so.
And plus, after this, we won't have to go out on the boat all the time.
Hey.
Hello.
So, son, you are given a lead to go to a weapons manufacturing company. When you get there, you know the name you're supposed to find. It's someone called called Mr. Paperclip. He's an engineer. He's got an advanced degree. He just doesn't have a doctorate. And when you get there, there is a distinctive insignia that you have vivid memories of prying off of machines during the war. This is stuff that you used to strip down for parts to send back at the people that sent them. This is Borumar Siege Works.
Oh, Fuck off.
Oh.
I was right.
Yeah. I'm kind of gritting my teeth and.
I was right.
All right, all right. Sun's going in.
You make your way up, and it's kind of awkward. You're at a warehouse, and before too long, someone sees you and goes, "Hey, help you with something?"
Yeah, I'm
Weapons
looking
warehouse.
for.
There are guards.
Yeah, I'm looking for some custom parts.
Yeah, do you have an order number?
No, I'd be a commission.
Ah, do you know who you're trying to speak to, or do you have a pickup time scheduled? We need to check our records.
Uh, Look, I just need to talk to. Do you have someone in like an optics department or?
Oh, we're not allowed to discuss the names of our scientists or their positions currently.
Of course they're not.
All right, look, I'm building a telescope. I need a big parabolic mirror.
Unless you know who you're looking for, we can't talk to you, I'm afraid. You could talk to our sales department if you're looking for completed projects. Otherwise, we are not at liberty to discuss the nature of the work that our scientists and engineers perform.
All right, but you just said that you couldn't put me in touch. Look, do you sell mirrors?
We are a weapons manufacturing company. We sell
No,
complete
no,
weapons.
complete way. All right. Do you have like a? Do you have a manager I can speak to?
I'm afraid that I would have to direct you to our sales team.
All right. I'll go through the sales team.
Otherwise, if this is a prearranged order, you could speak to our shipping and receiving manager, but it sounds like you want to talk to our sales team.
Yeah, I'll talk to the sales team.
So you actually have to leave the warehouse, walk around the warehouse, and then walk back into the warehouse. And then you're in like a. This whole place looks flimsy. Like you could just walk through these walls like they're made of cardboard. But even then, it's like a little office. You can see someone working, going, "Hi, can I help you with
Hi.
anything?"
Oh God, I hope so.
That voice has
Look,
me concerned. What is the name of this person? Do they have a plaque on their desk?
Yeah, I need some work done. I'm looking for a tradesperson that can help me with a part that I need, a very specific part.
Cheryl speaks up and goes, "Okay, do you still have a warranty with us for a part? Or were you willing to bring in a siege work weapon for repair? Otherwise, we do sales, but I'm afraid we don't sell individual parts. We do in house repairs only. Trade secrets, you understand."
Yeah, I think I understand a little more of your trade secrets than you know. All right, look. So you're telling me that there's no way that I would be able to sort of contact somebody that works here to get a custom part made, and you don't sell individual parts.
We You have the right to freely associate with any persons you wish, but we do not have the right to disclose the names of any of our engineers, scientists, or main operators.
Right.
And unfortunately, we don't sell parts without a pre existing purchase agreement. Do you know the name of the person you're trying to contact?
Hmm. Look, before we go down that avenue, actually, would Otto have used any parts from this company? Not likely, eh?
No.
No. All right,
If
look.
anything, this company uses the parts you made auto with.
Uh, and there's hmm. Like I feel like there is one name that I might possibly be able to drop here, but goodness gracious, I really don't want to. All right, look, I'm like, there's no way you'll make an exception, or hell, could you want to be able to give me a tour of? No, that wouldn't work.
Some of the security in the factory is starting to get antsy because they've seen you walking around and asking a lot of questions, and now you're trying to maybe make your way in.
No, I'm not trying to make my way in. I'm just trying to get a custom part that I know you have the machines to manufacture. I know I have the money to cover it. Feels like there's just sort of a lot of bureaucratic tape getting in the way of you sort of obtaining my
If you know the person
gold.
you'd like to speak to, I can get into contact with them. Otherwise, we engage in the professional services of the Borumar Siegeworks Company.
Christ, you.
If you'd like to network, you can go back to the market, sir.
All right, you. There's not a guy by the name of Moon.
Sir, I'm afraid you're
going
gonna have. Sorry, what was that?
Leaning Moon.
No, I don't have
by
anyone
any
working here
chance-
under that name.
Thank God. Thank God. All right, I'll be on my way then.
You get out like 2 sentences before they were going to ask you to leave. They closed the door behind you.
Shit.
You eventually make your way back to the party as they've come back with a crate of mail. They've come back with the first load, but you've got to go and help them get sacks full of grain. Takes a couple of trips, but eventually the Bilgewater's loaded.
Crockwell asks how it went.
Not well. You don't know anybody that works in Baru Enterprises. I'm afraid we're out of luck.
At that, Crockwell definitely reacts. What did you say the name of the company was?
Oh, don't act like that. We knew what we were getting into.
No. We said shady, not this.
Look,
there's a bit of a gap between, selling some drugs in a back alley and this.
Oh, you think I don't know that, Crowquill? Yeah, no, they suck. Yeah, believe me, I know, but they got the tools and they got the manpower.
Should we just go somewhere else? Like, we could just go somewhere else, be a little bit late for our drop off, and find someone else somewhere else to order it. Like,
Well,
or
I
know we're not allowed to commit any crimes, but a weapons manufacturer could have an accident.
what would that?
we need a custom part.
It's a custom, highly fragile part. Unless you're.
It's a fucking Boromar company. Of course, I want to blow it up.
That's sort of a side agenda here.
We could just go to Newtown and get you a fucking mirror. This is like a completely different situation.
Right, but it's gonna take like a week. And while we're doing that, I mean, we're not defenseless, but I don't know. It just feels
wait a
like it's
week,
important
and
enough.
I'd rather wait a week than give them my money, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I was hoping maybe I could, set up an independent deal with somebody so the money's not going directly to them. But in order to do that, we need to actually get in there to talk to people, and they're not too keen on that.
It's the last thump in the early morning hours as you get the last sack on there.
I mean, I haven't even tried the market yet. But
the market was the first place you went. They were the one that led you to that place.
You're right.
I think we should go somewhere else.
We could just wander around there and... Oh, wait.
I'm quickly penning another letter to Steelfist saying, "Are you sure that he's dead?" and citing this company.
Oh, it's just
like,
it's just a name.
no, he worked in shell companies. No company like that would last nearly as long if it wasn't still owned by him.
I mean, if the name bothers you so much, I got a whole drawer full of the nameplates. You could use them as target practice, I suppose, if you want.
That wouldn't make me feel better. What makes me feel better is knowing that that place no longer exists. Anything that ever brought him money no longer exists. In fact, the nameplate in the drawer actually does make me feel a little bit better. You should show me that drawer sometime.
Sure. The only thing about quitting, like, the only other
Filling that
option
up
is...
would make me feel a little bit better.
It's like, now that you mention it, yes, but...
Around quitting time, we could go out and just sort of wait for someone to be walking home and give them a proposition. But that, even for Sun, that feels like maybe a step too far, but... I mean, it came all this way.
We can just go to another city. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but... Alright.
Honestly, it wouldn't be too much of a difficult task for us to cross over to Newtown. Put the order on.
Alright, let's cross over to Newtown then.
Alright, you won more. You've been gawked at by the guards, but you've actually been back and forth from Newtown long enough, especially dealing with the much more intense shit of defending your island from Westwatch Navy. They can gawk at you. They're not doing shit. They just look at you and you're like, hi. You've waved at them a couple of times when they make eye contact. At this point, you know what a port pass means, you know what your rights are, and you know what they would find if they would look in your boat, which is nothing. You've got no contraband. You've got no rookery confidential documents. They could find out your rookers, and that would just lead them into a problem. Where now it's like,
we have a port pass and you're investigating rookers. Like,
you can shoot at ships when you're just like a ship in the sea with another ship, or if there's an outpost, no one's looking. But this is a busy port. What are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You make your way off, and they just kind of watch you leave, write things down in notebooks. You're not sure what they're going to do with that. The wind is moving to the south.
Cool.
All right.
We're
going southwest.
Yeah.
All right. You move away from the continent and start to cut through the storm based on your maps. Around you, you can see clouds, you can see bluster, but you quickly lose the coast just due to the density of rain and fog around here and mist on the top of the water. You curve your way past a couple of them roiling in this sort of turbulent mess and make it 2.5 squares to the southwest.
Cool.
Gets closer to noon, and the weather shifts to the northeast.
I guess we just head directly south?
South? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, I suppose.
You turn slightly, following the stormy sea southward, waiting for the wind to shift, so you're not tacking quite as much. That brings you southward 1.5 squares. It's getting closer to the early afternoon, and the wind shifts another time towards the northwest.
West.
Okay. Yeah, west.
West.
You delicately sort of carve and cleave your way through the openings in the storms. Occasionally you have uncomfortable lists one way, then you manage to catch a break one way and keep things in order. By the time you catch coast, you're able to normalize your position. That's another 1.5 squares to the west. It's the late afternoon. You've spent some part of the day in Westwatch, some part of the day sailing. It's still not quite dinner yet, though. It's not the end of the workday, but it's almost like 3-4 p.m. The wind shifts to the south again.
we're heading towards Newtown at that point.
Yep.
You readily reach port by the time it's dinner. In fact, you get there before the dinner rush, so you could stop at a tavern or like an eatery if you needed to.
Well, we gotta get into this. Gotta get this order in before like the 5 o'clock hits. So.
Yeah.
And at this point, Crowquill's finished frantically scribbling a letter to Steelfist and gonna go mail both of those letters at the Rookery. While Sun goes and does Sun things.
Yeah, I'll go look for the place in port, but I don't really know what I'm looking for, and I don't have a lot of time to find it. So
the thing is, in Westwatch, you had one lead, but that was the only lead you had. In Newtown, you don't have a lead, but it's a city for people who don't have a lead.
all right,
You gotta move and shake and hustle if you want to find someone who can make a parabolic mirror. There's markets, there's part exchanges. You've been to the part exchange in Newtown a number of times. There's the ruins around the old Smasher if you want to find people who talk about engineering. That's almost like now a local conversation piece, which is startling since you can see like the 2 out of 3 remaining Smashers like jointed together with a bunch of reinforcements about to fall over.
Yeah, Sun is immediately going to local part exchange. Market has things that aren't mechanical parts. And is getting out in a bit of a rush,
All right. You are looking through an empty lenses bin, looking for someone you can talk to. It's actually pretty dead. There's not a lot of people, but on a nearby table, there's a lot of just like big folded open tables in the middle of the market so people can just fan out their parts, pick things up, pick them up, and keep going.
Mm-hmm.
On one of those, there's a discarded magazine.
Oh.
It's like an industry magazine. Optics, Tubes, and Glasswork is the name of it.
Ooh.
Yep, that's the one. What sort of stuff are they hawking?
You get to the index. You don't see anything, but it's one of those things where it's in your hand, so you might as well flip through it and know there's nothing instead of just assuming. So add an article, a discussion of a new technique, some diagrams, add this, an elaborate discussion about sand types and their values in the glassworking industry, and then the last fucking page is an ad for exactly who you're looking for.
Oh, thank God.
Custom built optical equipment with a 1-week lead time based out of Newtown. They're not even 9 to 5. They work presumably 9 to 5, but their receiving hours are only like 10 to 2, but they take mail orders.
Oh, cool.
Well, all right. I knew this guy took mail orders. I just was lazy. I wanted to get him in faster. Yeah, I'll
You could just drop a mail order off like in his mailbox though. That's faster than shipping it through the post.
You could literally talk to any individual person on your boat and go, "I would like to send a letter," and they would go, "Ugh," and then by job title have to sit down at the desk.
Yeah. Well,
right. I forgot about that.
That's also me. So yeah, I'll put in a mail order before we leave.
All right. Do you already know your dimensions, or are you looking for confirmation on a potential design strat for this telescope?
Well, that's the thing. I wanted to talk to the guy because Sun is not an optical expert, and he would, like to get some confirmation before spending an exorbitant amount of money on this. But we don't always get what we want, do we?
Well, this is not like direct to consumer, like I would like to mail this magazine and put a check mark and a letter and send $20 and get something later. Like this is a supplier worker, like this is an internal industry relationship. This isn't client facing. You're only technically a client. Really, you're a producer and they're a distributor of parts.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more normal for you to send a letter being like, "Hey, could I go talk to you about my project? I'd like to discuss my options."
Yeah. God, but I want it done now. This is gonna take forever, and if I leave, then we have to wait for him to mail back. We know how unreliable the mail service is. Uh,
Because that's us. And
well,
we're unreliable.
yeah.
What are you talking about? We've always made the deliveries. We've never lost a
Yeah.
delivery.
We've
We've
never
disrupted
lost
several of
delivery.
Imperial deliveries.
That is true. I was thinking more of like, along the lines of who knows if they're gonna focus on their job or go off and destroy an Imperial convoy. Yeah, all right.
Why can't they do both?
Why can't they do both? It's an excellent question for us to ask ourselves. Yeah, I'm gonna. Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, I'll. Never should have futzed around and Westmarch. Goodness gracious! Now look at me paying the price. Um.
So you send in a letter.
Yeah, I'm sending a letter.
All right.
I'm
So as you
grumbling
go
about
in,
it, but
you go with a couple of other people sending letters, and as you do so, you get a reply. Particularly, Croakville gets a reply from Anna.
Ooh.
She still refuses to commit to any. She gives you the whole like, I'm afraid I can't commit to any particular. Like she waffles, but she does need to get out of Midhill soon, and could use a reason to be nowhere for a couple of days, and would love to visit and get more information about the opportunity.
yeah.
At the end of it, you see like a couple of clearly like she should have just erased these and written the final sentence, but like it escalates in severity. It's like, of course we're all concerned with our living, our well-being, our lifestyles, and I, perhaps as a trapping of my other work through which you met me, I have my own lifestyle expectations. But expectations, it's like mind reading. Lack of clarity is unhelpful. I want to know if I'm going to feel okay living there or if it's going to be trash. Thank you. I would love to visit you soon. I'm in Midhill. Let me know when you can receive me, or better, pick me up.
We don't even have a living quarters design yet.
I know.
Like, I'm talking all this stuff, like, yeah, it would be great. It's such a simple job. All you have to do is take notes, read me shit, like, maybe we workshop some stuff. Like, it's a
Yeah.
pretty cush
Yeah.
job. Like, and you would get paid, like, a gold a day for basically doing nothing.
And you're sleeping on the ground.
And then you're
Sleeping on the
sleeping
ground.
on the ground.
Long odds.
Odds?
Do you want to roll it or should I?
I'll roll it. That's 2d6, right?
Yeah, long odds. 2d6.
I got 2 odds. 5 and a 3.
It's then that you're rereading. This isn't like text messaging, it's letters. You have time to reread them before you pen a response and bring it to a desk and send it to the mail office, right? You have like a good couple hours to think about what this message is going to be. And during that time, you reread the letter a couple of times, and you notice a line near the beginning talking about how Anna would be more than happy to receive a pay cut or alternatively a pay raise, assuming that she will be paying for all of her own lodgings. If you need eyes, it might be better if they're not on the island, and then she can live in the luxury and comfort of any given city she pleases. This is told as like a self-aggrandizing joke, like, of course, a great lady as me would be much more happy jet-setting like an aristocrat, being paid for all these. Like, it's clearly a joke, but as you read it, you're like,
It kind of checks out.
I mean, I just have to work out the logistics of how that works.
As you're looking that over and looking over the logistics before you send your final reply, you notice that based on the budget, this goes one of two ways. You can get Annalise on if you go down to being paid the same as everyone else on the boat. and then she would be just kind of like paid a regular wage. So you would probably want her to have good digs, or you would want to set aside like chunks of budget for like missions in cities. If everyone on the boat or specific people are willing to take a pay cut, the boat, because you said you went out of your way to make sure that there's extra things, the boat could take a logistical pay cut. Like the boat itself could have less food in and spices in order to pay for Annalise's accommodations, or the boat could be nice and you guys could all take a slight pay cut.
Is there
Why
an
do we want
option?
Annalise again?
Sorry?
Well,
Why do we
I
want-
want Annalise.
Why? Why?
Because
What
she
was
is
Annalise
literally
bringing
the
in?
only other person outside of this crew that I know and don't want to kill.
Huh.
Literally, it's them, the clown crew, which there's no fucking way the clown crew is ever getting involved in what we're doing.
Right.
Steelfist, who said, nah, not my lifestyle, and I went, yeah, okay. That leaves Anna. The only other person whose name I have bothered to learn the entire time of our adventures.
You know what? That's fair.
And that we
As
don't
well.
want to.
And
like,
that we
actually-
don't already want to kill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or wants
It's
to kill
funny
us.
because like everyone else was perfectly happy to pay you up front to give you anything you need to do the work, and then they would screw you later. Anna was just the only person who up front was like, hey, I don't have money, I can pay you later, please help.
Yeah.
And then you said
Yeah.
okay, and then she paid, and you're good.
Yeah, it was one of those things, and I bonded with her over grift. We both have grifts. It's
Mhm.
Both
fine.
have grit.
I feel a kinship with Anna
Mhm.
or
Mhm.
Anne, whatever she chooses to go by.
Or Annalise
Whatever
or
her name
Annabelle or.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like Croakwill genuinely wants. Croakwill needs someone that she can count on to be her assistant, who is like designated to be her assistant. So if
Yeah.
she's trying to like understand a book or trying to understand like something that's going on, she can genuinely do that. Like that is a thing. But like, yeah, that's that's basically it. She wants someone that she can trust, who is her designated secretary on the island. And this
I
started
don't know anything about this girl.
exactly. I really
Why
don't.
she's perfect.
I really don't, and she knows nothing about me. She knows nothing about this fucking job. Both of us are just like,
Things,
hey, we
the
won't
the
fuck
two
each other.
things you know about Annalise: she can keep a secret, and she doesn't ask questions.
Yep.
Like it's
So either she's gonna
Yeah.
betray you, or she's the best employee.
yeah, exactly. It's either gonna blow up massively in Crowquill's face, or it's not gonna blow up at all.
Either it's gonna
be
blow up
great.
massively in Croco's face, or it's gonna prevent 5 different sort of blow up in Croco's face
Yeah,
moments.
exactly. Exactly. And this all started. Croakwill penned this letter before she even knew what the condition of the island was. So her idea was literally she was going to go to an island and just live in isolation,
Mhm.
where people would occasionally visit her with boxes.
Yeah.
And she wanted people on the island to help her out, sort of, and Anna was one of them, and Steelfist was another, and those were the only people that she knew. Me personally, I was like, wouldn't it be great if I like penned a letter to like Reginald's family, like Reggie's parents, and tried to tie them in, but I was like, no, that's way too convoluted. There's no way that would ever happen. But I really thought I could be like, yeah, this is someone that Croakwill definitely knows from the backstory. No, she wouldn't know them from the backstory.
You've already had your backstory, and that's that you did a job together once, and it went well.
Yeah, but like, Reginald's family live on the other side of the mainland where Crocro was living in solitude. Even if Crocro was like learning Druid at the time, she
There's
learned
not really a lot of.
she
I mean,
learned
you
Druid out of
might-
necessity.
You might know the names of the people that Steelfist was hanging out with for a while, right?
I probably have like seen the name of the crew, but I wouldn't associate anything with that. I wouldn't know Reginald or Reginald's
so-
family or anything like that.
Just to like get things back in the flow. It's around dinner time, and you've all regrouped on the ship after getting that last bit of trade done. You're ready to get moving. You didn't see the Clatterhorn docked here.
Well, yeah, because they would just be continuing back to the island, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you're penning in that letter about the scope, and then we're heading
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Well, it's
Oh,
dinner.
boy.
Do you sail into the night to get there overnight, or do you like stay at port till morning? What's the plan? Dock, anchor out somewhere.
If we stay at port until morning, you might be able to go in person rather than penning the letter.
All right. Well, if it's late anyway, and you guys don't want to sail through the night, I'd like to do that.
Should we do that instead?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm gonna pen the letter anyway, just to keep my thoughts
Yeah.
straight, but so I don't think gay thoughts. And
You
cheat
don't
on my
want to be
wife.
thinking gay thoughts.
Cheat on my wife that I've never mentioned before on account of I don't care much for her.
There's
Wait, you're married?
Wait, what?
sorry, I gotta keep moving. There's plenty of things going on in Newtown that you could get up to during the night, but you are able to find some stuff to do. Keep yourselves busy, maybe you can stay on the ship. Eventually dawn comes, you all awaken at adventurer times. Are you gonna start heading back first thing in the morning, or are you gonna try and make a meeting? You remember them saying they're only open 10 till 2, so like you'd be leaving here late morning, noonish, if you're to wait for them to open.
I would like to do that, but
Yeah, it'll save us days
It'll save
if
us
we
days.
just wait until 10.
Yeah.
Alright. You fart around through the dawn, through the early morning. It's actually in the early morning. How often are you checking for replies, or are you just like waiting outside this office?
Oh, I'm waiting outside his office, like shamelessly. You know, I got work, and I know he wants to do it.
10 a.m. comes. You can see one person walk in and start meeting with somebody. It's like 10:10 when that person leaves. The person who was just talking goes outside for a smoke.
So I think that what Sun would do 100% in this situation is go inside the building, right? And if there's a spot to wait there, or if there's like an office where they were talking, wait just politely outside the office in a way that's like, hey man, no rush. I just want to make
This
sure
is
that
not
like
one of those places, actually. This is a fabrication almost exclusively location. It doesn't really have like an entryway or like a vestibule. This is kind of just like a box with doors that access it, and you make deals over mail or in person and then come pick things up through a garage door. This place, at best, has a difficult to see sign
all
and
right.
like a door in a brick wall. And that's where you see the guy smoking.
Yeah, in that case, I am like I don't want to bother him man while he's smoking, so I'm just gonna kind of wait until he's wrapping up his break and then go talk to him.
Like, you can see him, he's got a pipe, so he has to take some time to, like, stir it up and clear it out before going back in.
All right. Hey there, friend. I heard you're the guy what does glass work?
Yeah, have we met? I don't know if I recognize you.
It's perhaps possible, although I've been recently humbled in that regard. My name's Sun, Blazing Sun. I make munitions, and I'm damn good at it.
No, you're the one who makes that Whistler stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, my reputation precedes me. Well, I'm working on.
Wait. No, don't tell me. I just sent you a reply 5 minutes ago. Well, If you get mail, disregard my letter. You have time?
Oh yeah,
I've
yeah,
got
that's
5 minutes before the next customer comes.
sure thing. Well, I'm building a big old telescope, and I need a parabolic mirror to power the damn thing.
All right. Do you have your f-stop and desired diameter, or do you want to work that over with our optics team? I can get something
Uh,
sketched up for you. Do you know what your optical purpose is, or what your?
I feel like at this point, son goes, well, I had a drawing or two that you could look over real quick, and just kind of unfurls all the blueprints that he's been working on. And he's like, so this here is the where the mirror is gonna go. Reckoning, what was it, 15 inches? We want to be able to get a bead on a bird out on the horizon. So nothing astronomical, but
Well, I hope we're giving me for saying this, but I don't know if that's necessarily the approach that I would recommend. See, instead of going with the 15-inch, what you could do is instead of getting one massive, difficult, fragile mirror like this, and he goes, um, don't use the dimensions on these. These are just sample diagrams.
right, right,
And you
right.
see him take out a couple of other blueprints for previous projects. He goes, what I recommend is you have the mirror and then a separate mini mirror, a focusing point, and then a reflector. So
Hmm.
this involves a couple of other lenses, but it helps drastically reduce the diameter with a lot of.
Well,
Anyways, he
th-
gets into technical talk. He talks. He gets things done. You eventually reach an agreement. You're looking to purchase a mirror, right? How much of
yep.
this are you looking to craft yourself? Are you just buying a whole telescope from this optics company?
Definitely, I am purchasing like the parts Sun cannot feasibly make himself, which are lenses. Like,
But you want to do the rest of this.
yeah, I would like to do the rest of it. All of like the actual focusing hardware, feel
So
like Cardinier's got that.
they offer you a bunch of options which are compromises on your design. They change your design, but it's parts that they can much more easily accommodate.
Yeah, Sun doesn't have pride over this particular design. I feel like he's worked in environments where he has to,
Okay.
defer his ideas to someone who knows more. That's the whole reason he wanted to talk in person.
So you have a moment of humility. You go, you know what? I make weapons. I don't make optics.
No.
You back off and you let them talk about the things that they talk about stock and what they can do. Eventually, what they recommend is actually the eyepiece is the piece they'll have to ship to you, but it's small. It can be sent through the rookery because it's a very small package. It can go over sea mail.
Mm-hmm.
He has no idea you're a rooker, so he goes over being like, "Do you have a rookery acceptance address? We could send it over sea mail." I don't know if you know this. The rookery actually does package mail over the water sometimes.
I think literally what comes out of Sun's mouth is, "Oh yeah, I actually am well, I've worked with a rookery in the past."
Oh, perfect.
Like it just goes down the scale in his head.
Yeah,
I
like
am. I mean, I was. I mean, I know
yeah,
a person.
I know,
All right.
yeah.
Asking for a friend,
So
but
the total value of the design is going to be 10 gold.
Cool.
He can give you 5 gold of lenses and mirrors now in a box for you to take to the ship, put in there, and bring home to start crafting. But you will have
Cool.
to wait for the eyepiece to be delivered for the telescope to be complete. And
Hell
you're not
yeah.
sure when this will be.
Well, I give him the 5 gold, and I make a mental note. Actually, ask him for a receipt.
You're gonna need to give him the 10 gold because he needs to mail the other
Um,
stuff to you,
I
right?
have
Like
five.
it's
Uh,
Yeah.
if you are willing to make the 5 gold parts purchase, he is willing to tank the shipping costs.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm just saying, give him 5 gold because that's what Sun has on him
Hmm.
right now,
Croco will
and
reimburse you.
yeah, Croco reimbursement. So yeah, I'll pay. I pay the man. I pay the fine man, and the rest of the shipment will be in the mail, and then yeah,
All right.
that'll work out.
Got a crate of fresh, ready made lenses and reflectors.
Yeah, just a reflector.
cool.
Um.
It
Uh.
is noon by the time you all get back to the boat.
Oh well. Thanks for indulging little old Sun in that thing there, and it's a lot more productive, and I learned a lot about how mirrors work. So
All right, we heading out then?
Yep.
Let's get back to town, and hopefully nothing's happened in our absence.
Mm-hmm.
You loosen your planks, or you loosen your ropes, I should say. You bring in the gangplank, and you make your way off from the dock. The wind
I
is
feel like. Oh no, go ahead.
the wind is unhelpful. It goes to the northeast. You were saying?
Oh, I was just gonna say that I think that Son is gonna ask Croquill a question. Just like, hey, how do you know Boru, by the way? Or what's your connection with that company?
I thought
You
I
seem
told you this a while back. Oh, no, I guess I was just with Jane. Huh. I thought everyone on the ship knew. Boru raised me.
Oh. Doing the mental math in my head.
Yeah, he used to do this delightful thing where he would go to orphanages and adopt children who were there and then force them to do work so he could make all the profit and not have to do anything.
So I'm still doing mental math in his head. Yeah, that's pretty slimy. And making the tools of destruction.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
kinda
The
sucks.
tools of destruction. I mean, that was before. That was kind of before me.
The wind is going to the. I just want to get this done. The wind is going to the northeast. Where are you headed? You're just a bit north of the edge of this map, right around where the pin is.
Southeast.
So you continue talking about the Boru affair as you're.
Yeah. So you're not. So you're not like 12.
At that, Krogel's just kind of like, no, and my
I
brother
imagine
is
this
like
is
30.
a 36-year-old woman or something.
Like, I can't remember the age of Steelfist, but it's like, no, and my brother's even older than I am.
Okay, that clears that up.
Why are you concerned about me being 12?
Well, because I thought Baru died in like a horrible war accident.
That wasn't 12 years ago. That was like 2.
Wait, wasn't he the guy that got his face all messed up?
Yeah, he was the guy
I feel
that got
like
his face all
this is
messed
the
up.
equivalent of talking about things that happened in the past 2 to 3 years, where in your head, like in Bloodwine years, you're like, was that 424 or 425? Fuck,
Yeah.
like 3 countries collapsed. One person went to war. Like there was an explosion in this one city. There was a serial killer. It was a year.
Oh,
Oh my
right.
god. Boru died last year.
No,
Like 8 months ago.
Son just divides the time into pre-war and post-war. Like, that's just how his brain do. He's like, oh man. All
Plus
these
or minus
kids.
20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, like, oh shit! Right, that was the same year as COVID hit. Huh. Oh yeah.
I was just thinking to myself, like, damn, 2018 really was 10 years after 2008.
Right.
Like 2022 really is 3 months after 2018.
Yeah.
But also 20 years.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird to think about, like, I've been out of high school for like 6 years now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My reunion is coming up. My 10-year reunion.
Yikes.
Obama was president of the United States like 6 years ago.
Yep.
That's so weird.
Yeah, we're having a brain hurt moment.
Okay. You make it 3 squares to the southeast.
Time is
It's
so
the early
relative.
afternoon when the wind shifts another time. Now it's heading roughly westward.
Well,
Southwestward.
oh, okay.
It's not
Well,
directly.
That's not that bad. That's 90 degrees. That's good. Well, no, not really 90 degrees.
you've got not a lot more leverage, so you just kind of grin and bear it through the bad wind. You make it 1.5, so it's right around the late afternoon when you're starting to peel your way into camp. What's your first order of business now that you've made the pier? You can see
make sure that nothing happened while we were gone.
like this is kind of all right. Report. Anything happen? What happened to the shipping crew? Like, was that all good?
So the Clatterhorn is there. It seems to have been unloaded. It was unloaded this morning, from what you understand. They got there overnight and then decided to not overnight. Like they got there at night and decided not to unload till morning. The which was the Boxworks ship again? It was the Shadow something. Shadow Fog? Yeah, Shadow Fog. The Shadow Fog has been picking up your patrols since they're just kind of waiting until the opening to go do the crypto run.
Right.
They have a list of ships that have recently come by, if you want to review that. Otherwise, they have nothing major to report. They've just been getting on with their business. There were some, like local patrol ships that came by. There was one that was stationed nearby for a couple of hours and then it left.
Crowquill passes the list of ship names to Jane and asks her to review it.
Okay.
All right. So, last session, the last ship you encountered was the Red Snapper. This session, during your absence, the White Whale, 3-masted, blue and white, harpoon insignia whaling ship. The Watery Grave, 2 masts, West March, a West Watch insignia, routine patrol. Smoked Salmon, 1 mast, black and pink, a fish with a gun. They were adventurers. The Royal Seahorse was a 4-masted purple and gold passenger ferry for a long haul, like a cruise liner with a crowned seahorse.
Purple and gold sounds like a cruise liner, yeah.
That is fancy as fuck.
That's fancy.
I'd go on that ship. That sounds great.
I want it. I got it.
You like my hair? I bought it.
Yeah. That's on his toupee.
Further down the list, not in order, one of them has a star and a note. Do your eyes dart immediately, or do you do it in order to do like a full read through?
I would dart immediately to the star and a note, yeah.
So this is a few ships later. The Red Snapper came. There's a star. They managed to arrive while people were getting off the boat and swimming around. They got back on and left.
Did they say, like, where were they? Were they swimming around, like, was it, like, casually swimming, or were they swimming towards something, or?
They were anchored just off, like, one of the long beaches to, like, the southwest of the island. Based on descriptions,
is that the
very,
same place that we saw them?
Not the same, basically the same. Like, a little bit to the left, like they tried a new spot.
We gotta go check out that spot.
Yeah.
Sounds to me like they're just swimming, right?
What time of day was it? Was it the same time of day?
Let me check. Right now, it's the late afternoon in game, right? So, dawn today.
So were they being? Is that no? Because last time it was late in the evening when they tried it before.
There's still other listings on this manifest here of ships that have come and gone from the island.
Yeah.
None of them have docked, of course.
Yeah. I'm more so just thinking that their times might be different. They're trying to trip us up and sneak onto the island now that we're watching them.
We should go check out that area.
We should 100% go check out that area.
Yeah.
Do you do that before dinner? Like, get back onto the ship with that list and do your own check?
I want to do, like, a thorough check. Like, go there, like, jump in the water, see if there's anything, like, below the water or something.
Yeah,
like
splash
a
around a bit.
splash around.
See
maybe
if there's
check
any
the shoreline.
we can attract.
Like, the shoreline, see if there's any, like, places where they could, like, have buried a chest or something.
You sail around and don't see anything on your first blush. It's going to take some time to do the search. Are you going to check the rest of the list, or is this like you found what you needed, you're putting it down?
If there isn't anything like of note, then I'll just like
What's of note? Like something with a star next to it that they told you to look at?
yeah, like if it's just the names of ships, I'm going to leave it. Um
All right.
and then as soon as we start like building up this list, then I can cross-reference to see, okay, what ships are coming by like frequently.
Mhm. All right. You set the list aside. You can check this later with your data. You make your way off to that beach. It isn't long compared to all the long haul trips you've made that took like half a day. This should takes 15 minutes, and you're on the far side of the island. When you do some diving, you do note that like there's some disturbed sand, like they must have made anchor. But by checking the shoreline, there aren't actually footprints. There are footprints that come from the inside, that come from towards the camps, but some people on the island were able to keep these people from getting on board. They seem to have not made land. They just left.
Mm. And those footsteps, that's where I carried you.
What?
Jesus? Jesus, are you there? Are you with me, Lord?
Yeah. See, I always heard the version where suddenly there's one set of tracks and you're like, Jesus, where were you? And he's like, I was doing backflips. It's cool.
Yeah, relax, dude. I can fly? Come on.
And then the tracks went away, and I saw a footprint on a high ridge, and then a handprint on a bar, and then another handprint on the edge of a ledge, and then some more footprints, and then they rejoined. And I said, Jesus, in the hardest times of my life, where were you? And Jesus said, parkour, parkour. And he flipped over a ledge.
Man, it was so sick. Oh,
So
shit.
sick.
So sick.
Well, you know, we're all in awe of his Lord's grace and his Lord's athletics.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Buff Jesus is my favorite Jesus.
that's what you got. Are you doing further investigations with your skills, or is that?
I definitely like to investigate a little bit more. Is there... I'd like to sort of feel out the ground here with Hengstrud and sort of feel if there's any place that like feels like it's been disturbed, like the grass isn't growing here right, like it's not the same as the other one, like possibly a shovel struck it or something like that.
Yeah, want to go for a roll?
All right. I'll find the X marking the spot. 25.
25. You can tell where some of the, like inland, where some of the rookers had been charging through the brush. It's still kind of like unfettered, like a ruffled up haircut. It's not a wound, it's just kind of ruffled. The same sort of not wounded but ruffled effect is in kind of like the sand beneath the beach where it managed to catch the anchor for a moment. But with a lot of confidence, you're sure there wasn't any significant disturbance.
Okay, so it's either been a very long time since someone's buried something, or there's nothing actually buried here. Which leads me to believe they're trying to sneak on for a completely different reason.
Well, you'd think if they were trying to be sneaky, they wouldn't have been spotted twice.
This is true. Maybe we just let them come ashore next time.
That's what I was just thinking. Like, what if we just watched them?
Oh, I mean, we could watch them. We could let them come ashore and then light their ship on fire. Like, there's a lot of possibilities with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe we aggressively ask them why they're here.
I mean, in my experience, it's, you know, most people aren't very nefarious. I bet you if we just ask them what they're doing, they have a perfectly logical explanation. They can go on their way.
Do you have any final business you'd like to attend to before you anchor for the night?
No,
No, no.
I just broke my toenail though, and I'm kind of sad about it.
That is
Ooh.
very sad. Yeah, no additional business on my end.
All right. What do you do with the report that the Boxworks ships gave you? Do you file it somewhere, or
Yes.
just?
You mean like the list of ships?
Mm.
Yeah, I'm gonna file it somewhere for sure.
All right. Make your way over to the desk. You put it away in a drawer and
We
quietly
should
brush
make
it
like
shut.
a patrol book that whoever's out on patrol has the book. Of,
Yeah,
like,
I think that's what we
known
should do.
ships.
Yeah.
You know, if we had a sort of a guarding station, we could file all this at the big old desk they got in there.
Mm-hmm.
This is also true.
Not, not to put ideas in anyone's head, but
We'll
Guard
bring that up
station.
in the next commander meeting.
Yep.
Idea of a guard station.
All right. We'll tune in next time. You guys can check this out at twitch.tv/Croton_live or at youtube.com/Mr. Croton if you want to check out the VODs after we post them. The rules for this game are at bloodwine.fandom.com. Anything coming up? Anything happening?
Well, Friday would be Pokemon Arceus, but people are having a little bit of trouble shipping. Everyone that I know that has like pre-ordered the game, not like the digital version, like pre-ordered the hard copy version, is like massively delayed in getting it.
Ooh.
So mine won't be coming in until next Tuesday. So I guess no Pokemon next. Well, I guess there will be Pokemon next week, but a completely different Pokemon. So tomorrow is still going to be Temtem, and that's going to be a blast. We got some fun going on there. And Friday is going to be more Mass Effect. And Saturday, we know what Saturday is.
Where's Jimmy to swimming?
Yeah.
Hustling. Straight hustling.
He's a straight hustler.
great hustling, baby.
All right. Well, we'll see you then. So thanks for hanging out.
Yep. As always, thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Good night.